actually may be the problem. On top of the fact, I don't think she was very open. She came off standoffish. I think maybe that wasn't her intention, but she came off standoffish. And then I think she just said some things that maybe were a turn off. Like when you say, I ain't really seen nobody I'm checking with yet, like it kind of comes off like you don't really like nobody. And if you don't really like nobody, then maybe you should go home. Just stuff like that. She just wasn't very warm or inviting to me. Every time I saw her on the screen, she just kind of gave off of this, kind of standoffish vibe. And I would say a couple of them were sharing some of their backstories, but you just don't want to share too much too soon. That seems like, you're going to be a problem. So I think it was that more than anything else, and that they just really didn't, connect with her. So that's what I can see off the top. Um, yeah, I'll let y'all go, and I may have other stuff to say.
That's a good read. Yeah, go for it, Jay.
I'm with Seaway, especially on that big thing of telling one of the guys, I don't see anything here I like. That's automatic. They're going to talk to each other in the men's. It's a men's deliberation, and they're going to speak. She's not attracted to any of us here. Why keep her? Two, I think Elle said kind of said it. She leads with the negatives, like I don't like this, I don't like that. And then there's another thing. I've said this before. If you don't like something, why are you running around asking about it? So you're trying to check people off already. You don't like your feet rubbed, so why do you keep asking people about what do they like about feet? Or do you have a foot fetish? That's the first question you ask somebody, and be like, ew, no, don't do that. Then why did you ask about it? That's so weird to me. So you're already in the mind of creating confusion in people's minds. So that's never a good way to go about things. If you don't like something, there's ways to find out if a person is into those things without asking them directly, and then immediately behind that, shutting it down. You make people not want to talk to you when you do that. And on top of it, like Seaway said, she comes off very closed off. She's very guarded. And Jonathan even mentioned, and a few other guys mentioned how guarded she is when you're talking to her. Everything is a turn off. Everything is a negative. Everything is a ew that, ew this. You make it very unpleasant to talk to you, have conversation with you, just even on the politeness of being cordial. We're just getting to know each other. You can save some of those extra comments for yourself. Just keep them in your head. You don't have to share them all the time. If you're turned off by something, you can politely just exit your way out the conversation and move on. So the fact that she couldn't even do that several times and then circle back to, and again about the threesome. Like, why are you still talking about things you don't like? You're not going to change that person's position on it. If that's what that person likes, carry on. Good for you. You can find out more of why they like what they like. But to sit there and bring it up just to be like, yeah, no, yeah, I'm not going to be interested in any of that. I don't want any of that. It's all a turn off. So at the end of the day, I do feel like they chose the right woman out of the bunch to go on, because I can only imagine with the next group, she would have been the same way. Oh, one last thing too. It's always a person that's talking about they healed. It's the most unhealed. Listen, healing is an ongoing journey. There is no 100% fix in any of this stuff. So once you say that you're healed and you ain't got nothing else to do, I always know that you a problem off top. So that's another thing. Sorry.
Appreciate it. JR.
Yeah, my explanation's a lot briefer than those, but I agree with both ladies. Those are valid reasons why she would have got sent home. But mine is her walls seem to be higher to climb than any of the other ladies there. So yeah, when she closed herself off by saying certain things, talking about previous relationship, things like that, in a mixer, this is kind of speed dating. So when you hear something like that, and then the rest of the ladies are a bit more open, you know, you get on well, or you are able to sit down and have a more meaningful conversation with them, then that puts them ahead. So yeah, I just think her walls are still up and too high to climb compared to the other ladies so far.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear what you guys are saying. I mean, I think for her, Patricia, you know, I think unfortunately she was just very strong on what she didn't like, and sometimes that can be a highlight of your of how you turn up to people, right? Sometimes people capture your essence, not necessarily your totality. And sometimes it takes a few seconds, something to come out of your mouth, or something that you say, or the way you sit, the way you maneuver, that people pick up an essence about you rather than actually what you are in totality. And sometimes that can be a snapshot of your interaction, right? It's a bit like Lamar's situation. They give him the show intentionally edited him on a snapshot, right? Which is, it went from one conversation about spontaneity, which was never about spontaneity, it was about him skinny dipping, and then literally the next conversation we see him in, he's talking about sex again, right? Now, of course, in that conversation, he doesn't initiate it. It seemed like they were in the middle of a conversation, and our good sis Patricia had brought it up, but they've captured his essence in that little second or two because he likes to push sexual boundaries. And I think that same thing might have happened with Patricia, that sometimes, people capture your essence in the sense of the fact that the way you answer a question, the way that the words that you use, sometimes it's very hard, because even when I was watching to see her body language, there wasn't anything necessarily defensive about her body language. But there was a little, and again, it will be tied into what she was also saying. The only thing that I noticed, which I wouldn't even say necessarily was so bad, was that she came forward a little bit when she was answering some of the questions about, the things that kind of hurt her a little bit. So that was about it. You know what I mean? And usually when people come forward with their seat, they're trying to explain something. So that's why they do that. But, again, there wasn't necessarily crazy things that were happening with her. So I'm assuming that they must have really seen her energy, the tone, the words she used, the way she articulated herself, that was giving off an impression that there's a lot of energy that they don't necessarily like, right? Sometimes what's in your heart comes out in your action, and sometimes the way you speak, rather than it actually showing up as I used the wrong word, rather than showing up as a physical action that you take, you know what I mean? Because she didn't show any aggression, she didn't show any, bad vibes or anything. It's just the conversation that she had, where she spoke about, the past, and spoke about not trusting very easy. You can get away with that when you show a very light, airy kind of energy, but when you don't show a very light, airy energy, it comes off even more, like it's like, oh, she's also not trusting. She's also giving an energy which is kind of, it's not the easiest thing to want to be around.
It's the judgy tone.
In that space. Okay, go for it, Jay.
No, I was saying it's that judgy tone that you're talking about. It's that undertone of judgment that a lot of times that people carry in the conversation. Like, body language could be polite, they can be like they're engaged in the conversation, but sometimes we give off a tone as if we're secretly judging people. It's that, oh, you like sucking toes? Ew. Like, why? Ew. That type of thing. So you got to be careful when you're doing that, when you're judging out loud.
Yeah. And I went to go look back at the last the folks from the episode before. I mean, I was thinking if they put it together, because some people are saying, well, no, somebody had to go, so she was the one on this one. I don't see, maybe besides April, anybody from the girls from last episode who would have went home before her. So I think in the same vice versa. I think if you put the guys on this episode, I don't think anybody would have went before the court gesture guy. So I feel like it kind of worked out the way it was supposed to. But I think it's a catch-22, right? In dating, you don't want to come off too much like the homie, because then you get put in friend vibes. But guys also don't want a girl that they feel like they can't talk to, they can't kick it with, they ain't got nothing in common. She talking about she healed, she got her walls up. It just gives like bad vibes. Like, she just gave kind of like bad vibes. And certain people get away with certain stuff. I don't know, but she just didn't have the demeanor where she was going to be able to get away with that. Maybe if she was Laylin, maybe she would have got away with it. I don't know. We won't know. But she she wasn't able to get away with that vibe. And so I noticed the girls at the bottom, her and Vanessa, they both were very honest, sometimes to a fault, which is not bad. I think Vanessa kind of takes it like, hey, I'm going to be honest. If my guy's not here, I'm going to go home, which I respect. That's fine. But her and Patricia were very honest. And I think because they weren't kind of placating to the guys' opinions and their whims and trying to come off as lighthearted, they ended up on the bottom. I just think Patricia was more standoffish than Vanessa. So that's why she went home. So
Yeah, I definitely hear that.
But
I
then,
think, yeah, go for it, Jay.
sorry,
Go for it.
sorry. I
No,
was
no,
going
go
to
for
say
it.
to Steve's last point, but Vanessa also did have somebody voting for her where we didn't really hear anybody for Patricia. So
Which is a fair point. She had nobody advocating for her, which would have also made it a bit worse. And that also, then again, maybe she's in the wrong group. Maybe she had been in another group. Maybe she would have got an advocator. But unfortunately, she had no advocator, and that is unfortunate. It left her in a predicament. But it's interesting because obviously people were saying, for instance, why talk about a fetish on a first date? You're absolutely right. I don't want to be talking about fetishes necessarily on a first date, but if it does come up, how do you handle it, right? So for instance, if someone says, like, excuse the language, someone says they like anal. I don't like anal. Okay, I've never tried it. Don't need to try it. I'm not going to try it. Okay, yeah. Now I can say it like that, right? But if I know I'm in a situation where people are talking, I might be a bit more intrigued about why people want to do it. You want to do it. Why is it that you want to do it? See, it just means there's a way of just being able to just kind of deflect from that conversation without it becoming so dead on, right? I really don't do that. I don't like it. I'm not about it. But maybe I might be like, okay, cool. Like, so, okay, you asked a question about it. So I'm guessing you're obviously intrigued by it. So what was it for you? And it just shows a little bit of interest. And what that does is, again, it makes you look like the light person. It makes you look like the person that even when things are a little bit more difficult in terms of conversation, you're able to still to navigate that place and still make it light. And it makes people want to be around you. But when you are, you know what I mean? Then it makes things dead on. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Because that wasn't the only sexual conversation that happened. There was other conversation that happened. There was Alonso had a conversation with both Patricia and
Rashina,
right? And that conversation came across kind of cool, right? It was cool until it got to the toes. Again, she was still asking about these toes. That was obviously a situation, but yeah, they were cool. He asked a question about sex, and she answered it. So clearly she's not, it's not like she was being a prune about anything. She answered that question very well. She said, I like it gentle, I like it slow, I like it this. And it was answered. And we moved on. You know what I mean? So clearly there's other things in the way that you're answering certain questions that seem to be very definitive, very black and white, and it has to be this way. That is making people feel like you're a little bit defensive in that aspect, because there were other aspects where she was cool talking about it. So, I thought she was quite open in that respect. But unfortunately, she had no advocator, and that's just the truth. She had nobody advocating for her, nobody writing for her. It is what it is. I don't know if there are any other additions.
Just to go on to what you were saying, Coach, I think somebody in the chat kind of wrote it, kind of like what I was thinking too. It's just that wanting to understand. You don't have to like it, but you're open to trying to understand why that person likes it, or just learn more about it. That wanting to learn something about something different. So I think that energy translate to people a little bit nicer than that other energy, which comes more of the judgy side. Like, oh, you do that. Well, oh, I don't want no parts of you. That's what you give off when you go into that immediate, the way that Patricia did it.
Definitely hear that. People are saying they don't talk about sex on the first date. I would be honest with you. Listen, I don't want to talk about sex on the first date, but they do it every season. On this show, it's a slightly different situation, right, compared to real life, because in real life, you have your boundaries and stuff like that. And I think most people are on their better behavior. But this is Red to Love, where they're standing around oftentimes for hours on a set. They're drinking, they're feeding them drinks that they shouldn't be. They're not eating as well because they can't afford a budget. Listen, there's a lot of stuff going on in that particular aspect, right? There's a lot of hot lights, hot air, and it's hot, okay? So people end up having these mad conversations. I do get it. That I'm not a person that really wants to be talking about sex on the first day. I already told you about Lamar and the way he did it. I didn't like it. But you saw the way Alonso did it. Alonso got away with it. And I think this goes back to Siway's point. Some people can get away with stuff because the way that they ask the question, their tone, their word choice, the way they deliver. Some people are comedians, but they're really bad because they don't know how to deliver a joke. It's the same way with delivering certain questions. When Alonso asked it to both Rashina and to Patricia, they both answered it well. Right? And he did a nice little thing where he said, did you hear the way that Rashini even said the nasty? I was involved. It didn't seem crass. It didn't seem like, it was too over the top when he had that conversation with them, right? But when Lamar was asking about going to the beach and skinny dipping and about on the first day I want to make you hot and sweaty, I was looking at it a little bit weird. Yeah? Why you want to make people hot and sweaty? That was weird. Yes, anyway.
Because Chaz looks better. I mean, yeah, it's about delivery, but also women, we're famous for this. If we like you and we think you got some money, we don't take it the same way as if we think you're a creep and you don't look good. Honestly, Chaz's delivery was better. I'm not going to say it wasn't. It was way better. But it was also because the women saw him as a real viable candidate. So they didn't want to come off as prude and not answer his question. Honestly, personally, I wouldn't be answering those type of questions. I'm Vanessa to this mess. So if they would have sent me home because I refused to answer their nonsensical questions on the first day, then home I go. Because I just feel like at a certain point, that's just not appropriate. And I'm not going to be inappropriate on national TV because I want to be chose. So that's just me. I'm not judging nobody who do, but that's just not how I act in my regular life. I wouldn't go on TV and act that way. But I do think Chaz, because the ladies like Chaz.
Would you shut it down like that, Patricia? Would you have
shut it down? I think I would have done a more Vanessa.
Shut it down, though.
I think I would have done a more Vanessa way.
Laughed it off?
I was like,
hey, laughed it off.
Yeah, I probably laughed it off.
You'd have given boy you wildin'. You would have given boy you wildin' and laughed it off, and you maybe would have walked away, and you would have got away with it.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. They would have got the point though. That I'm not answering their question, but I don't think they would have felt like blown off. I just would have been like, no, that ain't for me, big dog. That's not for me. I'm not answering that. And they'd be like, all right, cool, I respect that. And they move on. You ain't got to answer every question. So.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Wait.
I got to say, yeah, like there could have been a better example of spontaneity being used, right? So that immediately made me feel like this dude, man, like what is he trying to do? He nearly self-sabotaged his whole thing, because I would expect that type of convo so early to put people off. So I think he could have used something like maybe skydiving or something random, but to go straight to skinny dipping, you only known these women for 5 seconds. So that was a very silly move in my opinion. And yeah, if he keeps on leading with things like that, putting people in awkward situations, then he won't last long at all.
Are we speaking on him now? Are we speaking on Alonso now, or are we still general talk?
No. We're still Patricia on why she had to go. But I'm gonna let Sean and give us his thoughts, and then we can shift it. Sean, we're talking about Patricia. She had to go. Okay, she had to go. Okay, fine lady like her as well, but she had to go. And we're asking everyone why you felt like she had to go. Maybe you disagreed with that. Maybe you didn't think she had to go. What's your thoughts to that?
No, I think it was her time. I think we'll definitely get into some of the other stuff I heard you guys talking about. Like, I don't think she got let go because of not wanting to be involved in those inappropriate conversations. I think she got let go because it was time for her to go. And anytime somebody starts to shout into the rooftops what they is they ain't, you know. And I think what undid her was the fact that she went to talking about how much healing she had and how much she's healed. And I think she was unhealed. And it's very unfortunate, but I just think, you know, you don't need to be, you know, and Seaway always says this, and I happen to agree. You know, I don't know if Seaway you got to it already, but you know, when you get to talking about what your last ex did, you know, what your last boyfriend did and all the trauma you done been through and the roads you done seen and the hills you done climbed, nobody wants to hear that in a dating scenario. It just sounds very tiring. I'm drained. If you want to talk to me about all the stuff you done been through, I'm drained. You know, you can say, you know, listen, I've learned, you know, these are some of the things I've learned from my last relationships, you know, but I'm excited. But, you know, when you get to talking about everything that you done been through, and yes, I'm healed now, don't claim victory until you cross the finish line, sis. So that's what I think. I mean, I think she's a beautiful soul, but this just was not ready. This wasn't the time for her. And then when she got to leaving, she get to sliding down the wall. She barely met those people for 10, 15 minutes and she's sliding down the wall. That tells me you're not ready for the process. Because if she would have got to 2 or 3 more rounds, she wouldn't have been emotionally ready for ready to love, at least.
Who's Jonathan?
Definitely hear that, Sean.
Who's
Definitely.
Jonathan, Coco?
John, you know Jonathan?
The Nigerian.
From Nigeria.
Oh, they said Jonathan could do it, but Patricia can't. What that mean? I was just curious.
I have no idea what they
Ask
mean.
them. Ask them. You said what they say. Ask them. Let's go with it.
I know what they mean.
Monique G, that's for you. I
super chats.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know either. Felicia H says, great intro before the panel arrived. Big energy all 2024. Shout out to you, Felicia, too. Phil Good also said, Leylin for the win. Knockout. Shout out to you, too, for giving us super chats. By all means, ladies and gentlemen, please keep the super chats rolling in. Let us know your thoughts on this episode and who you're rooting for. It'll be good to see. Let's talk about another person then. It seemed like, I want to talk about old Vanessa, because she really was, I felt like a beautiful soul, but she reminds me of Karen from Married at First Sight, so I can't let it go. But, obviously, she seemed to be, in her process, it was kind of, it was interesting because I felt like she was always distant. Like, I think if it wasn't Patricia that wasn't there, Vanessa was going to. Okay, because honestly, I've never seen somebody be so disgusted in their body language that they ain't trying to be nowhere near nobody. Okay, I mean, she had ample space between her and anybody who was sitting next to her. I mean, literally, Moses couldn't miss if he went through there. Okay, all right. So I was like, you can park a Land Rover through the gap that she's literally creating between people. So I want to know your thoughts on Vanessa. And what you thought about her, because I think Leylin kind of pointed out that she felt like Vanessa wasn't very confident about even her chances. So what was your thoughts of Vanessa? Because she had a great conversation with Chaz at the very end, and it seemed like, they seemed to hit it off because the G.O.D. upstairs, you know what I mean? What's your thoughts, guys? Talk to me. Vanessa. Oh, yes, go for it, Sean. Go for it.
Usually you're like, okay, somebody moved. I have my mic open. I was ready. So listen, first of all, Vanessa's beautiful.
Yes, she is.
I just think her personality, I need to see more. I need to see more. And you know what also upset me? Like, I mean, you could date who you date, love who you love. I'm not somebody that shames somebody if they date outside of the race. I don't like when people intentionally go out and say, well, I'm only dating this and I'm only dating that because of Black people being this, us Black guys being this, Black women being that. Yeah, I don't like that kind of talk, but you can date who you want. But I also don't need a preamble for who you done dated before. And, you tired of the white kings because it didn't work with the white kings. And now you want to be with the Black kings because you need somebody revolutionary, Wakanda forever. Like, you can miss me on that. I just was like, maybe she couldn't figure out what to say. Like, but I think that's not the saying she should have said. Save it. You're actually on a show on the own network. So let us uncover that. Give us a mystery, and maybe that'll come along in the process. But announcing it right on, it just seemed a little cringy. It's like, oh, well, I was over here with the white man, and I want to find me a black king so I could be revolutionary. Well, I mean, if you've watched a season of Ready to Love, you're probably not going to find that here either. But whatever. I'm not sure how that's going to influence her matching and give us some insight into who she was. I did think she handled a couple of her conversations really well, especially with Lamar, because he's very unserious. Anybody that get to talking and bumping their gums like that, talking about they want threesomes and da 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 da. It's like, the guy from last season, Marvin walked so she could crawl, so Lamar could crawl. Like, I just felt like it's cringy. You can be all those things. You can be into BDSM. You can be into kinks. You can enjoy what you want to enjoy, but there's a way to introduce it to somebody, and there's also a way not to be crass and inappropriate. And I just found him to be very crass and inappropriate. And in the way that he was asking those questions, talking about taking a woman on her first date to a nude beach. I just think it's like, bro, just do better. Elevate yourself. Like, we're grown men here in a particular setting, and I guess I'm putting my lens on it. Some people might not care. I carry myself a particular way, so I'm gonna care how I look if I show up on TV, and I'm not gonna be that crass with a woman that I meet for the first time. I think it's very crass. And you can flirt with somebody, you can throw around innuendos, but like, just to be that overt within the first meeting of somebody, I just didn't like it. And I thought she handled it the best way she could, but she does come off standoffish. And absent that moment with him, I think she does come off a little bit standoffish.
Here's my thing. I think Vanessa is going to surprise the folks in the comments who think she's going home next. I think Vanessa is just, she's kind of, this environment is a little weird for her. And I think when she warms up, people are going to be really into her. I think the people are going to be into her, Laylin. I mean, they just kind of have like a mystique about them. They have this very like calm confidence. I know she was worried about going home. I think because she was aware that she probably was kind of dissimilar from everybody else. But I think that when she warms up, people are going to be really into her because she has this kind of like, I don't know. I felt like I wanted to know more about her the more that she talked. She seemed very, very interesting. And on top of that, she's really pretty. But a lot of people are pretty, so that only helps so much. But I think she's going to be here to stay. I do think that she went to a few of Dr. Umar's seminars and she had a change of heart and she's reformed. I don't think that she necessarily needed to say that in her opening statement. And I do think when she heard it out loud, she was like, I should have kept that whole entire thing. And so she immediately said, I shouldn't have said that. So I think she's self-aware. I think she knows that that whole story sounded crazy, especially if that's her child's father. If the White King is her child's father, she shouldn't talk bad about him on national TV. She should just be okay with what it is. But I think Vanessa may be here, y'all. I don't know what y'all think, but I think she may be here for a minute.
Yeah, I don't think Vanessa's going to be here too long. I'm the opposite. I think out of all the ladies, she probably found it the most awkward and uncomfortable from what I could see. And I'm not sure if that's just her personality or it was just like nerves from being around so many people and in front of the cameras. So I'll give her some grace. I'll wait and see a couple of episodes if she sticks around. But again, if your walls are up immediately or you have a long shopping list or a checklist or whatever it is, then you're immediately putting yourself in a position where you're limiting your options. And I mean, it depends how you shut people down or how you approach the uncomfortable conversations, and also how you dismiss the people that you're not really feeling. So yeah, I'm not sure she's going to be around. It wouldn't be surprising to me if she was one of the next ladies to go. Maybe not the next, but I don't see her sticking around too long.
First off, I'll say Vanessa, gorgeous lady, reminds me of one of my homegirls. Literally looks like one of my homegirls. However, I've always leery of people that go from one extreme to the very next. So from her being over here, married to a white person, I'm like, Sean, you can love who you love, date who you connect to and stuff like that. But I'm curious on why her reasons to being with a white person. Was it you grew up around white people? Did you meet this person in college and y'all vibed out? Or is this just a thing that you actually like white people? Because now you're all the way on this side talking about Black Panther and Revolutionary, which is the total opposite, which is also kind of weird, especially like CY say, if you have a child with this person. It's kind of weird to be going Black Panther all of a sudden and stuff. But I'll give her pass because she has been divorced for some time and she just might be a little awkward to the dating world altogether. However, she gives me, when she's turned off by a person, like the littlest thing would turn her off. She's just all the way turned off, because when her and Alonzo first met, it was like, oh, you got locks. Oh, I like your locks and stuff. And she was very open to conversation with him then. But when it came back around, she got very closed off and I couldn't understand what happened. So I wasn't sure if it was the whole comment about being her being a flight attendant and he asking for the buddy pass so early that turned her off, or what happened later on that she just got real closed off with him all of a sudden. That was real strange. The other thing I said is production and casting is funny or whatever, and they like to set people up, because I feel like her and Marie should have been on the same season together, since she wants her Black Panther ride or die king. Okay. They probably would have made a good couple. Who knows? But it is what it is. However, I think she does need to open up a little bit more and understand that this is not the real world. In the real world, you could be turned off by people and you can go on about your business. You don't have to be there with them. But on this type of setting, you do have to have some type of pleasantry with people in conversation. So you have to be able to engage when they're trying to engage with you. The fact that you were having a whole conversation and Alonzo came up and he tried to continue the conversation with you and Maya, you made it real awkward when you just sat there with the and you just got to saying how deep you were with him earlier and how you was having all these deep conversations. Now he's like, okay, well, ask me something else. You have nothing. This is day one. You should be asking all kind of questions. It should be a limited number of questions that you have in your mind, that you could be saying the same questions to each person. It doesn't even matter, but you should have a lot of questions on if they align with you or not. So I don't know if she's physically not turned on by him, but she liked his height. So that was kind of weird. I don't know. Or if something he did or say to her turned her all the way off while she went that route. However, when Chaz is talking about sunsets, she's loving the fact that he sees God's paintings in the sky. Okay. I don't know if it's the God conversation or it's the sunset conversation, because I didn't really lead from one or the other, but I was just like, you like Chaz. That's what it is. You're attracted to him physically. So now you're opened up to him and whatever fluff he's giving you. Because it wasn't nothing about God in that whole thing other than it's God's painting in the sky. He's doing his artwork. So I was just like, I see, if you're not attracted to somebody, you're going to shut down. You're not going to have no polite conversation. You're not even going to try to make a friend at the end of the day. And the opposite for Chaz. They had really great conversations. So we'll see how she goes forward. I'm not like JR. I don't think she'll get voted off right away. But, she may not last too long if she continues this behavior. And if Chaz finds something else he likes, because he's all over the place.
I'm hearing it. JR, you have anything to add about Vanessa? Are we done?
You're going to have to let Vanessa marinate for a little bit.
Yeah, you got to let her percolate for a bit, man. Like I said, I'll give her a couple of attempts. If she meets some of the other guys in the other group, in Group A, then something may work for her. But as I said, if you got your walls up or you're awkward or anxious, closed off or anything like that so early, when you have so many other ladies who, you know, they're more jovial or the conversation's more free flowing, then it's going to put you lower down in the whole scheme of things. So, like I said, I'll give her some time.
Yeah, I think she's gonna. I think she'll stick around a little bit. She might be one of those. You know those a couple. I don't remember the names, but there's a couple of ladies that stayed in the bottom for a couple of episodes. So she might be in the bottom for a couple of rounds until she finds her stride. But I think she'll be around.
Well, Sean, Chaz is bringing the light skinned kings back. You know what I'm saying? And, she's definitely liking it. So, one for the team.
Wakanda. Wakanda for the caramel. Well, listen. Unfortunately, Owen has dropped a couple of spoilers. So the things that he's saying, I don't want him repping the we the light skin king delegation. Don't want him as our as our president. But listen, don't tussle with me in the comments, please, please. And I always say this, and somebody's still gonna tussle with me. You might not think I'm light skinned. It's okay. If you don't see me as light skinned, I totally respect it. I understand. I accept whatever shade you see me as. I'm not putting it on a pedestal of anything else. So please, I don't want to tussle about me being light skinned. I really don't. I don't want to have a colorist debate. I don't.
Yeah, tell the afterlife that too. You gotta tell them too.
Everybody. That's what I said. This is a ubiquitous message for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, ubiquitous. We can move on. It's on you, Coach.
Before we do, let me get Jack. I said Jack. Let me get Glenn in. Yeah, I'm gonna get Glenn in. Glenn, we're talking about Vanessa. I wanted to get your thoughts on Vanessa. How did you see Vanessa on this episode, Captain?
I mean, to me, Vanessa seems like she reminded me of Liz. She reminded me a little bit of Liz from I can't remember. That was Houston, I think it was. She reminded me of Liz. That's the kind of vibe that she gave me. I like to see a little bit more of her background. She is more of that churchy type, set off, offstandish. I like to hear what she had because again, that God movement moved her a little bit, right? The sun sets and they were sitting there by himself. And what Chaz was smart. He isolated her from everybody else so he can go ahead and put his game in. And sometimes it's just like any other prey. Sometimes you isolate the weakest link in order to stick your claws in and get what you need. So, I mean, you got to read through what Chaz was doing. He isolated her just so he can kind of feel her out a little bit and see where she goes. So I think he's playing a game, but she is she's gonna let you know how she feel. She did that with Lamar, like, hey dog, I'm not feeling this, But Lamar he would just turn everybody off anyway. And she doesn't really fit in, so she's different. I'm waiting to see. I'm gonna hold my opinion on Vanessa when she mixed with the other group. I think Seaway said it earlier. I like this dynamic of how they doing the groups because it gives you you don't see everybody at one time, and it leaves you a little bit of excitement or a surprise when you do see everybody together and who else they mix and mingle with. I think you'd be surprised. I think Vanessa will find somebody else in the other group more appealing than Chaz.
Which one, Glenn?
Didn't see it until you said it.
I'm not sure yet which one, man. I think she might even look at the comedian a little bit, and that's something different for her. I think she even that's one of the guys I think she may gravitate to. I think his name was William, or the other guy Will. I think that's one of the things that she may gravitate to. She may be like a Vern and she'll latch in on Chaz, and that's all she knows. Only time will tell. But I think she's already putting her claws in the Chaz right now, and we'll find out when women start to go when the women go to deliberate. We'll see how if she's that type of person. You know what? This is my man, and I'm sticking with him, or she's open to see everybody.
All right, cool. I appreciate it. Let me mark that on the StreamYard so that I can link it there. Cool. Let's move on then. So we left Vanessa. Let's go then to Maya. And I guess Maya won't have a big thing because I think it's just about how attractive. But Maya had a scene with John. I want to know you guys' thoughts. Maya, John, plus Laylene. I want to get your thoughts on that because they were the awesome threesome. That he had two dates with these two ladies. Is it Laylene?
Oh, Laylen. Don't mess up my baby girl's name.
You got the clip?
Damn.
Laylen. That's my baby.
Oh, Laylan. Sorry, my bad. I spelled her name wrong and everything. You know I'm going to get somebody's name wrong. Okay, the Layla. So obviously, with Lala and obviously freaking Maya and John, they went on some dates and, it was very interesting to see John dating Maya and Lancard. So, I really want to get you guys' thoughts on this situation.
Wait, they went on some dates, but you have some clips we didn't see, Kojo? What the hell?
Went on one date. John went on one date with them. He went on one date. So
you mean they sat in the corner and talked?
When I say date, you know what I mean. They went in for a conversation.
Oh, don't confuse me. You know this show got dates and you got the group mixers. Like,
oh, my bad. Sorry, they went on a conversation. They had a conversation. My bad. So my bad. So John had a conversation. I apologize. Dates is a very heavy word. John had a conversation with both Maya and Lanyard. So let's have a conversation about these two. I want to get you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of these two? What do you think of the dates that John had with these two ladies? I think it was night and day personally. I don't think Lancard is really into my boy John. I can't lie to you. So, I want to get you guys' thoughts. Can't lie to you. I don't think she's really into him like that. Personally. JR, I know you wanted ready to hit it off the table. Talk to me, JR. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, I don't think the connection was there initially. But again, you're going to hit and miss with some people. So I'm not mad at it. At least it didn't descend into chaos and madness. Jonathan seems like a cool dude so far. So can't really say that I took anything major from their convo. Just that they didn't mesh initially. And again, it's still early, so it wasn't a problematic situation. It was just tumbleweeds a little bit. So yeah, that's what I got.
Kojo, I'm not gonna lie, so you can skip past me. I watched this episode twice, and I don't even remember their conversation. I really don't.
I don't remember the conversation.
I don't know.
You don't remember Lanyard and freaking John's conversation?
No. I can't tell you.
Seaway watches with a filter of judgment. If she really don't care too much for you, she's gonna be disinterested and move on.
That's how I live my life as well. So you're right. And that is my toxic trait when it comes to watching these shows, especially if I got the fast forward and you get to talking about nothing. I'm hitting the fast forward on you. That's my problem. So charge it that's on me. So okay. I don't know. Maybe y'all remember it.
I'm gonna charge.
Is this also the clip where he said he got all of his dating experience from watching Fresh Prince and Martin?
Mm-hmm. That was a date with Maya. Yes, I can play a clip if you want me to.
I remember that.
No,
I don't think the one with Laylan
can be reminded.
Yeah, wasn't the conversation with Laylan when they both said they was like he was from Nigeria and she was from Sierra Leone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I do remember. Yeah. Thank you, Glenn. I remember. I wasn't paying attention.
And then Maya was separate because he was at the bar with Myra and said he wants the same thing she drinking.
I'm helping the family business grow.
What do you do?
Metal recycling.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so that's all we do. Going into this process, I know I have a lot to offer as a person, and she will too, whoever she may be.
Another date as well. I'll play a quick clip so you can see it.
I want a good friendship. Like I want fun. I don't want it to be just all straight.
And you should.
All right, cool. So. that as a comment because I really did see that. I can't lie to you. I want to get your thoughts. These, I ain't even trying to be mad at that. That was a great comment. But you know, with John, obviously, with John and good sis, Lanyards and Maya. I want to get your thoughts. The dates. What's your guys' thoughts? How did you see it? Was there anything interesting that stuck out to you guys?
Besides
sorry,
the fact him Fresh Prince and
what, Jay?
I said, besides the fact of him saying that Martin and the Fresh Prince done raised him how to date.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's insane. That's crazy, bro.
When
like,
both of them never got married, JR, through the show, like all the way to the end of Martin. That's when he got married.
That's what I'm saying. Like Fresh Prince, like he had a girl every other episode, right? He was basically macking. They weren't in no serious, steady relationship. And Martin and Gino, man, that could never have taught you how to date, bro. Like that's crazy. But I think he may have tried to use some references that he felt may have been familiar with her. But again, like wrong choice of references. None of those shows were about marriage or, you know, committed relationships or anything like that for you to use it as a reference point in a situation. But and this is also when they both spoke their native language together, right? So that was a bright spot for me because they have that in common. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, like these two could do well because that automatically brought some familiarity, some commonality. But yeah, the Fresh Prince and Martin reference, that's, yeah. And in the comments, now I didn't forget about Nia Long. That wasn't, listen, Fresh Prince had numerous ladies in that show. Many women, many actresses made their cameos in there to be his love interest. So it wasn't a relationship thing at all.
He's the one, he runs his family's recycling business, or he's a part of the recycling business. I did think it was good that he seems like he has a job and that he's contributing to the family's legacy. I thought that was good. Actually having a man on this show that can point to a real job. I don't know. I think these men, including Jonathan, are just very unserious, and maybe it's kind of hard for some of the women to have a real conversation with them because a lot of what they're giving is like super unserious. So I think as soon as you start talking about Fresh Prince and Martin, I probably would have checked out. I'm not gonna lie. Because that's just a very odd, out of all like there's so many like sitcoms that he could have gave. Fresh Prince and Martin is like bizarre, but they seem like they were vibing. Who's the one he told that he don't know how to cook? Which girl did he tell that he don't know how to cook? Y'all remember?
I think it might have been Leyland. Was it Leyland? I don't even remember because whoever it was said they didn't cook. Or was Rashida?
Yeah.
Might have been Rashida.
Yeah, it was Rashida. It was Rashida. He told Rashida, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't think I cook. I don't cook that well neither."
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And I'm like, yo, and my thing was like, you don't cook very well, but you got 2 boys. You got kids. I was just saying.
Wait, isn't he the one who said he wanted to give his wife something he never gave kids? I thought he didn't have any kids.
No, that was Alonzo.
Yeah, that was Alonzo.
Oh, I can't keep up. Okay.
Jonathan has a kid. He's been married for 2.5 years. He's grown up on Fresh Prince in Bel-Air. He's a feet guy who will put your feet in his mouth. And his marriage dissolved because they had communication issues. He wants to match Maya's energy. And I'm trying to figure out what else I got on here. He tall and running the family business. Okay. So I don't know if that helps y'all remember who this man is.
Wait, why Grace Bercy says I wasn't watching the episode? I was watching the Bulls.
Sound about right, Grace. You sound about right.
She was watching Ready to Love on her laptop and the Bulls on the TV screen.
Right.
That actually does sound like me.
She was listening to Ready to Love and watching the Bulls game, cussing them out.
And on
the Bulls got to 500.
Yeah, because now you start confusing me because I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, wait a second, I can't listen to her.
I watched
the blind leading the blind at this point.
I watched it twice. I swear I thought they said Jonathan at the end of the game was the one who tried to give his
look at the end of the game. She's gonna be talking about he was at the 3-point line next. Yeah, she's gonna be talking about
when they went into overtime.
No, the end of the Ready to Love game, y'all, not the basketball game.
He was shooting his free throw shots.
I'm done with y'all. I tried.
No, but yeah, it was two different conversations between that he had with Maya and Laylin. I'm not sure if it was that. I know for sure he was really attracted to Maya because he told the bartender he wanted whatever she's drinking to match her energy. And by the time it was done, he was clearly matching her energy because she was feeling him as well. With Laylin, he was a little bit more drier. He was trying. I don't know if it was just because the energy wasn't coming back for him, but if he says he has communication issues, he's obviously not. I mean, his marriage is all the communication issues. It's two people, so he's part of the problem on the communication, I think. So we're gonna see going forward, he might have a little problem. But you know, a couple of people in the chat said that's they dark horse, they dark artist for them, I guess. So we'll see. Maybe he gonna use them Martin tactics or them Fresh Prince tactics through the rest of how to date many women, but not commit to none until you get into college and you with Tyra Banks for a few years, but still never marry her. You know, so there's that.
Listen, I mean, I think it's piss poor that as a grown man, I don't know exactly his age, but I want to place him somewhere between mid-30, upwards of 40. And you don't know how to cook? Yeah, I think you're gonna struggle out here, bro. You're gonna struggle, bro. You know, get yourself together. You know, I'm not saying you have to be a 5-star chef. You know, nobody's saying all that, but you should be able to know the basics. You should be able to know how to cook for yourself. I just think that is, you know, I'm gonna get on my high horse and just say, you know, that's unacceptable. If you grown out here, YouTube University can teach you how to make several things very easily. If not, call your mama, call your auntie, call somebody, and learn how to cook, bro. Like, come on. And that's another way. You want to talk about being romantic and watching TV. That's another way to romance the ladies. Cook get your good meal down and learn how to cook. And lastly, I just want to talk about Maya because we spent a lot of time talking about Jonathan, but why are we not talking about Maya? Because Maya is fine. She has a beautiful smile. I think she is highly engaging. I like her energy. You know, that's another thing I talk about often behind the scenes. Like somebody's energy, oh my God, that's so important. That's so enticing. Her energy is so light. It's so easy. It's like she just floats through everybody else. Not too much, not too little. You know, I really enjoyed her presence. I got to say that.
Yeah, Sean, I'm going to jump on your piggyback real quick. I'm sorry. Amy, my bad, Jay. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say to Shine, and remember SK and Raven, though. We learned from SK and Raven that the women got to do all the cooking, so.
Yeah, and how did that work out for him?
He's still cooking for himself. Oh, no, wait, no. Remember, he got many women, so he got people.
None of them white queens was cooking for him either. He was struggling with that unseasoned cooking.
I thought they'd be cooking. All the Nigerian dudes I know cook. But, I mean, I'm not in that situation, no way. You know, we don't got to go there again for y'all being my comments and DMs and Kojo's comments and DMs. But the ones that I know how to cook. So I was actually surprised to hear that. Sorry, Glenn.
No, you're good. I agree with Sean. Maya has a great energy. I think she has something different about her as well that people haven't picked up on yet. I also agree with Sean. If you're 36, you can't cook. I feel like if you can read, you can cook, right? If you can read, you read it. It gives you instructions for a reason. I think you can go and put something together. Again, YouTube University videos out here, TikTok, whatever. If I tried something to cook, I think Aries, no disrespect to anybody who out there, any moms out there who can't cook, but I think if you have children, I think it kind of make you grow up just a little bit. Somebody in some DMs like, I think you should be able to put something together, right? And I don't want to say you're not Emerald Lagasse or you're not a Bobby Flay, but you should be able to put something together as an adult, whether it's spaghetti, whether it's a pizza, whether it's like baked chicken. I mean, you got air fryers for God's sake these days. Throw it in the air fryer, throw some, get some green vegetables, put it on a plate, and call it done. Throw some seasoning on there. I think that's some things that people should be able to, if that you call cooking, But I think Maya, it will be a dark horse in this season. I think she's gonna be quiet and laid back. I think she won't get caught up in any of the mess. I'm just wondering and interested to see who she ends up with, or who's her suitor on the other side. I don't think it's anybody from the guys that we saw.
Well, first of all, Sean missed the part where we were going on and on about Maya. We were going on about Maya. I was going on about Maya. Maya was in my top 2. I don't want to see Maya and Laylen with none of these folks. I want them to self-eliminate and go find somebody else, because they both, I don't want to see them match with nobody on this show, to be honest. They're fly.
What's wrong with the title? What's wrong with the title?
Who's that? Is that Chaz from the show? Who's that?
Yeah, it's Chaz from the show. This cast has been heavy in the comments, boy. They've been lighting people's comments up.
What does the title
Chaz,
mean? What does
welcome
that
to
mean?
the show. Okay, we're gonna get on to you soon. Don't you worry. I don't know. I thought the title was quite sensible. He's lucky. Last few seasons I've been going in. But I will say this about Maya.
What the hell over
there was a question that was asked. Maya, what's the kind of man that you like? What's the kind of man that you like? And she said, I like a man. I like a husband. I said, baby, he asked you what kind of man you like, and your answer was a man and a husband. At that point, I said, I hope it's cut and it's edited, because I'm going to be honest. If that is the case, baby, you couldn't define what you wanted. And that tells me there's, we might, the beauty, let's hope there's more to it. You know what I mean? And there's something beyond that, because that wasn't a great answer. Just to put that there, not saying that she's not a beautiful looking woman, because she is. She's good looking, she's fine. But I'm just hoping there's a little bit more up there and it's not empty. Because the question was, what do you like in a man? I like a man and I like a husband. So just want to put that there.
Maybe she the Black Miss Swan. I don't know if y'all familiar with Mad TV, but the character Miss Swan, every time she would detail the man in her head, she'd be like, he was tall, he was dark, he's handsome. And they'd be like, well, what he look like? He looking like a man? So maybe she's the Black Miss Swan. I don't know. She might have trouble detailing what she wants out loud, but in her head, there was a lot of details given.
I think when a woman says he looks like a husband, women know what that means. Maybe men don't know what that means, but I know what it means if you say he looks like a husband.
Please explain.
Tell a
Please
husband
explain what
when
that
you
looks
see
like.
one.
And
What?
was that Jonathan? And was that Jonathan?
I'm unsure. I'm unsure at this juncture.
No. You said a woman know what it is. No, you wanted to spokes up person for the
I'm
ladies.
saying we
You
know
said
what
you
a
know what it
husband.
is. So I'm saying,
We know
is
what a
Jonathan that one that look like? Does Jonathan look like a husband?
I'm unsure.
Do any of these men up here looking like a husband, except for Glenn? Don't try to cop out with Glenn. Glenn is already a husband. He clearly looks like a husband.
Glenn
What does that mean?
Glenn looks like a husband. Sean
you can't use Glenn.
Sean look like somebody's husband. JR, I want you to look like somebody's husband, but you're so stubborn, so I don't know if I can say that. And Kojo does not look like a husband right now, not at all. So yeah, there is a look. There's a look. Not Kojo putting the glasses, maybe he look like a husband. There's a look, guys.
Even you can't articulate it because you know it's cap and a cap. Okay,
He looking like
you
a
gonna
man.
join JR.
He looking like a man.
Yeah. At this point, anybody can fit that role that she talked about. I know you try to save Maya, but let her drown. Okay, let her drown. Okay.
LC
I
got
said
you,
this from
Seaway.
Sean, not from you,
LC
Seaway.
got you. She said he looked like a provider.
Exactly. Looks like a husband, looks like a provider. Look,
Someone
Gwen and
said,
Child look like they're
someone
gonna
said
work.
Chaz looks like a husband. See, this sounds like you fancy the person. Don't sound like anything really coming from any goodness. It just sounds like you fancy the person.
I think
Like
Chaz looks like a husband though.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he got an accounting job.
Now, highlight C perks.
You have to look like you work. You need to look like you have a job.
These loafers are gonna run me down into the
I
ground.
need you to have a loafer. If you're above a particular age, I need you to own some loafers. Okay. I need you to have some glasses. I don't care if you can see or not. I need you to have a beard. I need you to have some facial hair. What else?
Kojo has all of the above, but you said
Seaway,
he don't
I
look
got
like
all
a
of those.
husband.
I said not right now. I need you to have a suit and a tie. I need you not to wear gym shoes with dress pants because I keep seeing that crap. That is not appropriate. What else?
We still see Kojo in a lot of these looks that you're describing, not the
I'm
suit
talking
with
about
the
right
pants,
now.
but-
Right now with this cut off t-shirt. That's not giving that right now.
Keep digging, Seaway. Keep digging.
I need you to own
They said you're not giving husband at all, Kojo. At all. They don't care what you wear. You can wear a full tuxedo and you will not be looking like nobody's husband.
When Kojo wants to look like a husband, he's gonna look like a husband. It's whenever
when he's ready.
When he's ready to do that, he will look like that. Don't you guys worry. He's just fine. I need you to own a polo. What you wearing, Sean? Let me see what else you got. A little polo. You gotta match it with the blue jeans and a belt.
Now you're gonna get them going about my polos.
Wrong road.
Please.
Give him Johnny Bravo.
Please. Then I'm gonna have to do a whole reel. I'm gonna have to do a whole reel on IG with hoodies now, just because of you.
Free Perk said that turtleneck tucked in. Hold on, let me tell you. I see who wore this outfit.
That's
I think
Tommy.
Yeah, like how Tommy, you gotta have a black turtleneck that come to your neck and match it with the blazer, you know, the all black turtleneck, and then match it with the sports coat blazer, and you could throw it with some dress pants or some blue jeans. That's looking like a husband.
Not the Texas style tucked in so I can see your belt.
I ain't even mad at these. I'm not even mad at these generalizations. I just know it's leading you all astray. It's leading you all astray. I don't want it to continue. Let it continue. Let them be led astray.
Hey, see
what false prophets.
They wear the women's pedal. What a husband look like. That's what we doing.
These false prophets are going to be prophesying the falsities on you guys. You'll be following these tight panties, belt wearing, tight shirted man.
If he wear the tube socks with the sandals, he is a husband, baby.
Exactly.
He gonna have a pager on him too at this rate. So don't worry, you continue.
Not the pager.
You have a pager and
they said the money clip.
Shoes ready.
You need the money clip.
You're gonna have a little shake as he walks. I hear it.
Just a slight pause on that, Kojo.
What's wrong with that?
Just a slight one.
No, but you must have missed the shake. The shake was this.
The shake on the walk. How was that?
Coming up to you, hey, baby girl.
What was wrong with that one?
Jay's kind of helping you out, but I'm not sure what you were saying.
And your nails have to be manicured. If you're looking like a husband, you also go to the nail shop.
It's giving Maurice, and I need you to stop. It's giving Maurice without the beard.
No, Maurice is like a deacon. There's a difference. There's added layers when you look like a deacon. There's a husband and then there's a deacon.
Nah, you didn't think it was fly when he had that LV gun holster on with the white shirt.
Mauricio was also looking like a candy striper sometimes too, so there's that. So.
Yeah, he had
a candy striper. He worked at the candy factory.
You talking about Morier or Maurice?
I said Mauricio. Mariar. That's
Morier. Yeah. I don't think Seaway was talking about Morier.
Oh, yeah, I got it confused.
She was talking about Maurice from Ready to Move.
Charisse Maurice. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about Morier. Y'all talking about Maurice?
Oh Lord,
Talking
now
about
it's like a single
Mariar.
professor.
I'm talking about Mariar.
Oh God.
Child, Maurice not even in my mind right now. I forgot about that. I was thinking about Morier. We're entertaining Kojo at this point. Let me stop.
Clearly, we have gone down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole.
So because they're but listen, I think we were able to get so much side talk about nothing really because they didn't really have a substantive conversation. That's just what it is. It wasn't anything, to grasp onto there. Leyland was sitting good, laid out there on the beach chair, whatever that was, and Maya was just a smiling. And John was talking about nothing, bumping his gums, talking about Martin and the Fresh Prince, or where he got his romance ideas from. And Kojo has left the building.
Yeah, and I think for me, I was a little distracted by how pretty some of the women were. I wasn't listening. Like no one was talking about nothing. So I was like, oh, I like their outfit, or I like their makeup, or I like that's kind of where I was. I wasn't really listening to what they were talking about. Because they weren't talking about much. So
I need to be paying attention, guys. But I hear you. All right, cool. Let's move it on then. From that. Oh, what do you guys think? See, you could have talked about this. Jonathan said Jonathan was on the game, and they said obviously they thought that Jonathan was very assertive, but then we realized obviously he's the one that got lost in his wife. So, and obviously that's why that's probably part of the reason why he divorced his wife or whatever. What's your guys' thoughts on that particular aspect from Jonathan?
Sound like that was some fishing for some pick-me's. Sound like he was fishing for a pick-me or two. What does that even mean?
I think the question that concerned me the most is that he like his what's that, the area, the gooch grabbed. He like his gooch grabbed and his tank played with.
No, Jay, don't do him bad like that. He said that was the freakiest thing that was ever done to him.
Well, blame Tommy for reading the question wrong.
This cast is very active in the comments. He's gonna jump up here in the comments in a second.
Well, tell him come up and explain what he liked. Or, tell us how he liked the grab. Did they like it from the back? When they grab it from the front? I just want to know, what I'm saying? Was it like this?
Can we move on from that, please? I didn't need to hear it when Tommy said it, to be honest.
Now the question was,
I don't know how you fish for pick-me's though, because they actively looking to be chosen. So how did you weave the pick-me fishing in there?
Oh, it's easy because that's how you fish for a pick-me. When you start saying something, I was lost in my last relationship trying to please my wife. The pick-me's gonna go, oh, you wouldn't have to work too hard to try to please me. I'm so sorry you went through that in your last marriage. Like, first of all, we don't even know what he went through, why he was so lost. Is the man still lost? It just sounds like fish me bait. Like why were you lost, sir? Yeah, I don't even know enough to say I believe him or not. It just sounds like a pick-me's fishing expedition. So
how long ago did he say was he married? Did he say he was married at a young age? Was he married young or was he married late? His relationship just ended. I know he said he was married for 2.5 years. I can imagine him being a teenager, being lost into somebody, or not teenager, mid-20s, probably being lost into who she was. If she was an older woman.
28.
Huh?
He said 28.
Oh, she might have been a sugar mama. Maybe he was lost in her because she was doing everything, and she was taking care of him.
He got lost.
Yeah, I can kind of see what Seaway is saying with the fishing type comment, because the way I took it, it's like, there may be some women there who may be like, you know what, that's the type of love I like. That's, I want a guy to be lost in me, lose himself. And that's never a good thing to do. You don't want to lose yourself. You want to retain who you are.
And just like that, he's in the comments. Sorry, JR.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm done anyway.
Y'all want me to ask him how he can explain how
Jonathan, we need you to
Nah, we
explain
don't need
yourself.
to know.
Why were you lost? That's what we want to find out. Sorry, they want to
Yeah,
find out
we
why
don't-
you lost, Jonathan. No, we really want to
Well,
find out. I think personally he was lost.
Maybe that you can't grab this part, which clearly, if I can grab your hanging fruit, I can grab all of that. Like,
How are you linking that to getting lost? What's
Jay,
going on?
there's nothing to grab. There's nothing to grab.
All of that is it's a whole part back there.
Where
You
are
can feel
you
it.
going?
If you
No,
can
no, no,
pierce
no,
the
no, no,
tape.
Jay. Jay,
If
he
you
didn't
pierce
say
the
grab.
tape,
about
that's
getting
no.
lost.
Nobody is
Why are we
grabbing
talking
the
about
food.
Gucci's?
Oh
It's
my
flat.
God!
Exactly.
It's a landing
And
area.
ask you to cough, my finger can grab it. Okay.
Jay,
No,
Why
but-
are we talking about the Gooch again, guys?
Brag
It's
on the
about
plate,
what
please.
he got lost. Leave the Gooch
Get
alone.
uncomfortable.
Please.
I think Jay
Why did
thinks.
you put up an
I think
anatomy?
Jay thinks that he got
Alone.
lost because
If
he
you
had
can
the
pierce the
grab.
tape, and that area
2024.
back there, which I believe you can pierce the gooch too, you can grab something. Something can be grabbed.
Nah,
Leave the
bro.
Gooch alone.
Well,
I
these people
cancel
be
the Gooch
piercing.
conversation in
Go
Jesus'
away
name.
from
It's
us.
cancelled.
Foolishness.
I will start removing you
People be
guys. No
piercing
more
back
Gooch
there.
talk. No more Gooch talk. We are talking about why he's lost.
I
I
feel
don't
like
hear no
Vanessa.
Gooch
I
talk.
feel like Vanessa
That's
with
what Jay's trying to say,
Lamar.
though.
I'm
Gooch talk.
completely uncomfortable.
Leave it alone. Just talk
Listen,
about
Jay
why
trying to
he's
say
lost.
that he got his gooch grab so good that he lost
I
his
don't want to
mind. He
hear
lost
it.
himself.
I don't want to hear
That's
any
what he's trying to
theories.
say.
Oh,
I
that's
just
why
want to
Jay-
know
Thank
why
you,
is he
JR. That's
lost.
why Jay is saying he was lost. Now, if that was true, then maybe it wasn't a pick me expedition. Maybe he was really going through something. I'm not sure.
The
Maybe.
brother said he was lost. I like to take it in a nicer way. He said he was lost in his wife. It's nothing to do with Gooch. So bad.
Well, was it her that did it? Was the wife that did it?
No, leave the Gooch alone. My God.
I didn't ask about
Guys.
the gooch. You the one who keeps saying gooch. I just said, did she do it?
Let's leave that behind, like the Gooch is. Let's leave it behind, okay? Let's
See,
leave
you
it
the
behind.
one who
Let's
keeps
focus
saying
on the front.
Unintended.
Let's
huh,
focus
bro?
forward.
Yes,
Let's
please.
focus forward.
Let's elevate
Please.
this conversation. It is going too far.
South, it went south, real south.
Yeah, well, let the brother live. Let the brother
I
live.
still
Now,
going with the
can we
down
focus?
south behind.
It's
What am I
clearly-
supposed to do?
It's not a safe
He's
space.
talking
and
about
we need to be a safe
relationships.
space, you know? So
Yes.
let's be a safe
So
space.
let's
guys.
leave that behind. So we're talking about him being lost. Okay. I want to know why you felt like he said he was lost in his wife. Why he lost his wife. What can that be from? Leave the Gooch alone. Thank you. Why do you feel like he was lost in his wife? Some answers about that would be very helpful, guys.
Poor boundaries. How about that?
I like that. You want to expand on that?
I mean,
Oh, okay. I thought this was like Family Feud. Shout my answer out. and I got-
Not you.
good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Good answer. Good answer.
We can't answer that question. We gotta answer that question.
Now we all waiting for Coach of the Ring to say good answer. Good answer.
I'm so confused. Cheer me on, family. Cheer me.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think perhaps he got caught up in the, happy wife, happy life, syndrome, and just, forgot himself somewhere in there. I just don't believe it. It does sound a little pandering. So I guess Seaway got, what you say was the pick me. It's a pick me, attention getter. But to me, it seems slightly pandering. And I just need to see more before that. But if that's his experience, I don't want to rob him of his experience. Perhaps if that's what it was, it could have meant that he had poor boundaries. He just was totally devoted to his wife and, put his needs to the side and probably got his feelings a little trampled over, because we know what happens. And that's why we get to telling y'all, you can't be in this thing where you just loving your wife more than you love life itself, because you can get lost. There does need to be a balance, and relationships, need to be reciprocal.
That's good answer. Anyone's got an equally sensible answer about why he might have lost in his wife?
I mean, only the thing I can think of, he was trying to take care of his family. He tried to take care of everything and just was caught up in more doing things for family than himself. And then if it's the one that divorced him 2.5 years ago, it broke his heart when she left him. You know what I'm saying? Or whenever they left, I think they left because of, I think he said they didn't communicate very well. I remember him sitting down talking to somebody and saying, we broke up or we was divorced because the communication wasn't there, and now I'm a better communicator. So he got caught up and just couldn't communicate his feelings and emotions to her and how he felt. So he was just indulged into the relationship with her. And sometimes he just got too consumed.
I think it could be that. I also think it could be maybe the communication issues led to arguments that, and the resolution to those arguments may have been difficult, or, the arguments may have been too frequent. So it wasn't a healthy situation to stay in. And I think how that ties in with him potentially being lost or losing himself or whatever, he may have felt like he was way too invested in that relationship, which wasn't going too well. So communication, plus the fact that he was probably in too deep at some points and forgot about or took his eye off the ball when it came to his own outlook on things or well-being or perspectives going forward. Yeah, like that could possibly be a reason why. Because divorce is final. So whatever communications issues he had, it must have been pretty something serious.
Thank you. Any more sensible answers, guys?
No, but y'all done ran him off being low vibrational, and now he's gone.
Hush, She-Way. He ain't gone. Anyways,
He's
he
ain't
gone. Trust me, he was over here laughing at it the whole time. Okay, he ain't gone. But I'm gonna go with on the lines with Sean of the boundaries, and plus he said himself he didn't quite have confidence. So a lot of times when we don't have confidence, we lack boundaries because we're never actually standing up and speaking up for ourselves. A lot of times, and he said it was a communication thing. So I think part of it is that he might not have communicated, like Glenn was saying, a lot of his feelings and his emotions and his boundaries on certain things. And so that might have played a part, and it could be vice versa. And it might have been a little bit of love bombing and manipulation added all up in there. But we always hear communication issues and we think that we're just arguing all the time. Sometimes it's that we're not speaking up for ourselves, or we're not letting people know how they're actually making us feel in certain situations that we don't like and we don't agree with. And we start to let people run us over a lot. So it could be a lot of that. Thank you, CXM. I am a mom.
Thank you very much to those guys for the sensible answers. Let's shift it and move it onwards then. Let's talk a little bit then about, obviously, Lamar. Sorry, Lamar. It's Lamar, isn't it? Lamar. Lamar had a conversation with Rashina and Vanessa as well. So I want to get your thoughts, because it seems he's obviously willing to push sexual boundaries. So Lamar, Rashina, and Vanessa conversation. What's your guys' thoughts on Lamar? I mean, he was pushing boundaries, asking people to sweat on the first date, saying you want to take them skinny dipping, take them onto a beach first date, which I don't think the beach was a bad idea. It's just the fact that he led up with the context of conversation, which is what made it really bad. You know what I mean? He's like, girl, I want to see you naked. Okay. But what's your thoughts, guys, to Lamar and his particular behavior? Jay looks bewildered, so go for it, Jay.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's just like when y'all have the women that come in and they go, people got to just take me for how I am. Lamar started with that same energy. And no, sir, we don't. We do not have to just take you for who you are just because you are a lot. He came in saying he is a lot. That means that he's going to be doing stuff on purpose. Hence why he says, I like to push sexual boundaries and all this. You're just testing the water, testing everything to see what you can get away with. And that's really all you're doing. You're outspoken and you're transparent, but are you honest? Transparency is a whole different thing from being honest or whatnot. So you just want to be a lot of problems for no reason. If you are, I think he wants the life of Marvin from last season. but he's not actually living that life right now. So that's why you're sitting here talking about, I like to push the boundaries, because you wouldn't be pushing people's boundaries if that was your actual lifestyle. You will be sitting here just saying, this is what I like. This is what I'm into. And if you're not, that's okay. I don't need to push your boundaries because I respect them. And I respect you enough to sit there and say, you're just not my type, or we're not for each other. So that tells me that you have little to no respect. Some of his attitude that he was sitting between the ladies when he's sitting there, he sit back, lay back, cool, just looking for it. You're not really engaging with neither one of the ladies, not taking your glasses off, giving them real attention. So you're just sitting here just trying to provoke, what's the word? You just trying to shock jock people. You're trying to provoke reactions out of people or whatnot. And you got them. You got them. For real. Like, for somebody who has been married and has a 16-year-old son and who's out here coaching children, this is not how you go about having a educated, well-rounded conversation with people. Like, I don't know who's leaving you with their children. That's kind of scary to me. That the first thing, like JR might feel like the first comment that he made was a problem. That's not really a problem because they asked you a question, what is spontaneous to you? So if spontaneous and I'm looking at a pool, yeah, I'll say some stuff like, oh yeah, skinny dipping right now. I just want to see how spontaneous you are. But to follow that up with, if we go on a first date to a nude beach, you might as well just say, we might as well go to the bedroom on the first date. Because yes, everybody on the beach is naked, but why do you need to see me in the nude right away? Why is that so important to you? You know, and I get on the other side is, oh, I know the whole comeback. Oh, because you know, if you're comfortable enough with me to sit nude with me and have a conversation, yada, 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 I can sit clothed with you and have the same conversation. I don't understand the difference. You know, it's nothing there. So for you to follow that skinny dipping up with that, you're just a turn off a lot of times than none. And it's very inappropriate and immature. Like, you lack more stuff to talk about. Even when we see Marvin, granted the clips that we seen of Marvin, we knew Marvin talked about a lot more than his fetishes. He wasn't just filling the women out for that. He just got that out the way so the women understand the type of lifestyle he's really into. But to sit here and be like, on the first date, I'll take you to a nude beach. No, sir. And I was kind of glad that Vanessa just stuck her ground right there and was just like, yeah, no, sounds great for you, but not for me. So yeah, even though that's my dark horse to watch, because some of these ladies is intrigued by it. We got Rashina over here caping for the man already. She ready to jump in the pool with him in the nudes. So he gonna be getting voted a while because he seems to have some type of charm to keep it around. But yeah, we'll see how long it lasts.
I just think he couldn't read the room. I think if you read body language when he talked about being spontaneous and jumping into the pool naked, right? You can see the body language of Vanessa. You can see the body language of the other people. Read the room. Don't go into the next conversation about I'm taking the first date onto a nude beach, right? That shouldn't even evolve into that conversation if you was, conscious about your surroundings, right? I think somebody said in the chat, why would you even go there? You're trying to get to know these women, right? And if it was reversed, if the men were going home, would he have said the same thing, right? If the men was going home, would he have came and led off with the same thing? He felt like he was safe because he was in charge. I think Seaway, somebody said it earlier. Tommy let them know. Don't let them know who's in charge, right? Until you get to know each other so they can play the role out. Because now he feels safe. Oh, I can say what I want to say this week. I ain't going home. So it's like I got a free pass. So now having a free pass, I can go as crazy as I want to be. Then also questions like, do people will watch this show over and over again? Do you say things just to be entertaining, to stay on, right? The shock value of the situation, right? To get your 15 minutes, to get your clip out there, and to see, okay, this might be a clip because he asked about it. But it's also disrespectful though. Like, what woman will go on a nude beach with you on the first date? How do you even bring that conversation up? Hey, by the way, I'm taking you out and we're going to the nude beach. And she's supposed to say, okay, cool, let's go. Right? I mean, who does that? So again, that's something in his mind he thinks is actually right. And I think this is not the last comment we hear off the wall from him, but I think it's going to be more. I think it's going to be definitely more because he has no filter, and he's going to be that guy to keep saying wild stuff over and over again, just so he can keep his name out there until the women get in charge and let him home, send him home.
Yeah, I mean, he just seemed like he was attention seeking. He wanted to be the Habibi. I'm gonna use Habibi over Marvin because I think Marvin was more about that life for real. I mean, you see who he's with now. I think he legit was seriously. I don't think he was saying that for shock per se. I think that was just kind of more his lifestyle. But he's trying to do the Habibi route, and I don't really feel like it's landing. And I don't know how old this man is. Do y'all know how old he is? Y'all let me know in the chat.
42.
He's 42. Yeah, there's a little bit of arrested development there. It's some immaturity there, and I'm noticing a lot of that with the men that come on this show. They just don't seem like they understand what's appropriate and definitely what's age appropriate, and the type of women that they're talking to, and that they wouldn't be interested in the things that they're talking about. So I would spend a lot of time on it, but honestly, if I feel like you're doing stuff for attention, I'm not going to spend too much time on you. And I feel like he's doing stuff just so we could talk about him. And so for that, this is all I really have to say. He's attention seeking, and he being an attention seeking pick me. That's what he's doing. He wants to be seen, and he needs to go sit down somewhere because it was not cute. That's all I got. Sean, do you have thoughts?
Oh yeah. I kind of, I stated a lot of it earlier. I just think, and this is, I don't want, I was like hesitating how do I want to phrase this because you want to give somebody a chance before you put them in a category. But I'll just say this. I'll say that as men, we have a lot of unlearning to do when it comes to our behaviors. And it's stuff that I'm still learning now in my ripe old age. So I just think we just need to be careful of how we talk to women because you don't know a woman's past. So when you say certain things that are of a sexual nature, you can make her uncomfortable. And I just think it's work that we have to do. And sometimes it's unconscious crap that we just get so used to doing because it becomes normalized. But I do think as men, we just need to be a little bit more sensible with how we talk to women, especially in regards to sex. And we need to make sure that the woman that we're engaging in that type of banter with is down with it. And we need to read the room if we go too far and she's uncomfortable, even if it's with verbal conversations. So I just think he has some unlearning to do, some work to do, as we all do. But I think I just want him to do a little bit better and elevate his conversation.
I agree with that. And listen, what he said was not the wildest thing we've heard on a season, like by a guy, right? Like you said, we've heard some wild stuff. I still think like that Marvin dude leading with what he was talking about and referencing things, his kinks and everything, like every single time he spoke to somebody, he was on that. I think that's way worse. But in this situation, like it didn't need to go to that level so quickly because you don't know these ladies. You don't know what their peeves are, right? They may not want to open up to you about what skinny dipping and sexual stuff or anything like that. So yeah, I just think he definitely needs to read the room better and temper his libido a little bit, because if you start leading with sex, you're going to be seen as the guy that just wants to hit and quit, and they're going to bounce you out of there very quickly.
I mean, whatever happened to getting to know somebody first, right, on these shows, right? You don't even know her last name or how to pronounce her name, whatever the case may be, and you're trying to see her naked already. And at 42, like I think Sean said, that you should learn some things by that age. You should be a little bit more seasoned and a little bit more proof with how you play the game, if you play the game, or how you talk to women. Just being able to talk to women, that's like natural home training. which explains why you were on the show, because you couldn't do that. So.
And I'll just say, like, if you're looking for a one night stand, and I mean, listen, I'm not saying I'm Hitch, I'm the dating, the dating expert, but I do know a few things. And I know if you're looking for, a one night stand, you're looking for a casual first encounter, that's typically not the way to get it. It's typically not the way to get it, by just coming out there being so like a little bit raunchy in the beginning. I think, you gotta check the temperature of the room first. And it just was unfortunate that he didn't do that. I think, listen, if that's what you want, I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se for that person, but I don't think that's the way to go about doing it, especially on such a very public platform where you run the risk of embarrassing yourself and also the woman that you're having conversations with. So I just think, we've seen plenty of guys on Ready to Love, and we done heard the behind the scenes where there was a one night stand or two. And most of the times it wasn't the ones that was out there talking about sex right in our faces. It was a little bit more subtle, a little bit more reserved, So I would just say, bro, don't, and I get it. Like sometimes you're on camera, you don't know what you're going to say, or you just want to be your full authentic self dialed up. Just reserve yourself and choose your words. And especially, because I think Rashina gave him a little grace and kind of went along with it. Because you see, the first thing she said was, and she was like, I'm not spontaneous. So that let you know already, she kind of was her first, it was the no to let you know, I'm not really comfortable with this conversation, so I'm just going to shut it down. But then she gave him, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I'll do, I'll do the skinny dip and I might do that. And Vanessa was still like, no, so that's your chance to kind of dial it back. Hey, I'm getting a little bit openness, but why do I need to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing that boundary? I think, we don't need to do that in 2024. We don't need to be pushing people's boundaries, especially when it comes to things, sexual.
I'm with you guys, 100%, absolutely with you. Any thoughts on Rashina? Anything? So you guys already said all your pieces that you feel like with Rashina?
I mean, Rashina's cool. She just seems like she kind of goes with the flow a little bit. I'll be interested to see kind of more about what she stands on, because at this point she just seems like she was getting along with everybody. I don't know if it's because it was the first day and it's elimination and you just don't want to do too much. So I'm gonna, hold back too much judgment off of this quick kind of interaction of what we've seen. But I don't know if we saw the real her yet. I think we got a lot from a lot of the ladies, just like a not trying to go home version of them. I'll be interested to see how they act next week. So
I think Rashida is gonna be like a Kyoshi, a little bit or whatever, because she already attracted to Lamar. That's a little bit of a problem. She attached, just like Kyoshi, however you say her name, is attracted to Laron. So these are gonna be something to watch or whatnot. But I'm curious, like Seaway is more on her divorce, because she said divorce separated. What the heck is that? I'm separated, divorce separated, how she said it or whatever. It's just like, usually you just say you're divorced. You don't say separated in there unless you're not fully divorced yet.
Oh, thank you. They helped us. It's Koshia. I forgot, Jay. By the time you finished.
Yeah, I know it's co something. So thank you, guys.
Koshia. So I got to keep it.
Yeah, when they put them all on the screen together, I think I can get it, Koshia. When we start seeing them every week. But I think Rashina, I think she's just listening right now. I think, isn't she the hairdresser, right? A salon owner. And I think she's listening. I think she's surveying the room and gathering information to see how she can maneuver and who is the top for her. I was confused by that too, Jay. Most people say I'm divorced or separated. They don't say both. It makes you wonder, like, what's really going on here? Like, what's really going on? Are you separated or are you divorced? Or are you in the process of getting that? But I wouldn't see them putting somebody on the show. I would think they wouldn't put somebody on the show who's still married.
That's a good point. And that usually means that it's something that's still unresolved, right? Because usually if you're divorced, you know you're all the way gone. Like the paperwork's been signed, there's no going back. If you're adding separated in there, separation is something completely different. You're apart, living separate lives or whatever, but there's no paperwork finalized, right? So you're still married technically in name. So you can't be both. It's either one or the other, right? So I think that that mixed signal or that lack of clarity may bring some confusion. Maybe she'll shed some light on it as the season goes on. But you know, you usually know whether you're in or out of your marriage.
So yeah, it could be a legal separation. Honestly, we're gonna see if that comes up again.
But still, yeah, it could be. But divorce is final.
Right.
So that's where I'm saying it's like it's a mixed message there. Like she needs to clear that up with whoever she gets more serious with or comfortable enough to open up about it.
Okay, I hear it. Let's move on. All right, cool.
You muted, Koji.
Sorry, I was like, I don't know if we spoke about Chaz fully yet. So I guess I think that's the last one. I don't know if we have. Is anybody else we haven't spoken about that was actually very prominent in this episode? Other than that, it's Chaz and Alonso, isn't it? Really, Alonso was also in the chat, but not in the chat. Sorry, Alonso was also in the episode. That's about it, isn't it?
I had to watch the Chaz thing a couple of times just to figure out, the baby passing at 6 months. I had to watch it a couple of times to see what he actually was saying. I think it's kind of sad. Wanted to dig into it a little bit more. It's kind of heavy to give somebody on the first day that you're meeting them, but it is real heavy. But I guess he was telling this story, right? Why? And I think that was why he didn't want to get married again, or why he didn't want to have kids. I couldn't remember which one it was, whether it was to have kids or get married, because he had lost a child, and he was still dealing with that, and still is dealing with that. And I think that is a difficult thing because he said, especially when he said, "I saw her give birth, and we had the house taken care of, and we had the crib, and we had the chair, we had everything planned, and then in the process of going through this, you lose a child." That is sad, and I think that's healing, and that's something that's his trauma that he has to deal with, and something he's dealing with, and that's something involved in relationships, especially going through this process. If you meet somebody and they want kids, like, do you want to do that again? Right? Do you want to go through that process again? Are you ready to go through that process again? What kind of joy when somebody's pregnant? Are you worried about that the whole way through? Or you enjoying the moment of them being pregnant? So it's a lot. Be interested to see how if it comes up again and how it plays out and how it deals with him being involved in a relationship with the rest of these women.
Yeah, condolences to him. As I watched it back the second time, I realized he detailed how old the baby was in the confession part, but he gave her the roundabout short version. And I see people in the chat saying that it's a trauma bond tactic. I don't think this was a trauma bond tactic for the fact that he was talking about her. They were talking about her children first, and that she had some boys, and she asked him, "Do you have children?" And so that made him tell a little bit roundabout story of, yes, I was supposed to have a child this age, but however, I lost a child. We didn't see him go into details with her. He probably did, but at the same time, he did it for us in the confessional part of it, that he just said that the baby was lost at 6 months. And I'm with you, Glenn, because we usually get the stories that they go through the miscarriage and the child is not born, but to actually be able to hold your baby, have some time, spend time with that's a different type of trauma. And I can see why a person be a lot more hesitant. Both parties could be a lot more hesitant on going through that again, because that's a grief that you have to really get past to say, I want to do this whole process. And for him to even detail saying that they planned a home birth, they did this, he was very involved in trying to have this baby. And I'm wondering if that's part of the reason they separated altogether, and how it played a role in each person's part. Who was the one who was still trying, who wasn't still trying, who decided to give up altogether on the marriage because they didn't either want to try anymore, or if it became like issue between the two. You know, sometimes one parent wants to move on and the other doesn't. So there's a lot at play, and I'm wondering how far he is healed in that, like you say, Glenn, to see if he comes across one of the ladies that want more children or wants to have a child at all. You know, some of these ladies don't have any. So if he comes and he links with one of those, how would that play out going forward? It's a lot on a person. However, Chaz is one of my dark horses. He came in liking everybody. He like every flavor in here or whatnot. So we gonna have to see how he really be moving on these streets. Is he a full-time playboy now that he is all the way out of his marriage and he just back in these streets, or is he actually really trying to find another wife and try all over again? I'm not really sure. But he linked to Rashida, who he likes natural, and she's saying that she's not that type of girl. She likes to do her makeup and be dressed up for a man and do the nails and the lashes and all those types of things. So I'm curious to know how we go from one extreme to the next. So, and you need to explain how God is painting the skies for you to go ahead and give Vanessa the dynamic sunrise that you claim you want to give her, the sunset that you want to give her. So we're going to watch you, Chaz. We watching. Forgive me if you said you don't want us to talk about your child. I respect that. We was just talking about the episode, my dear. No love lost.
Yeah, we're not talking about his son. We're talking about the episode, and it was mentioned. I don't want to be insensitive. It's just that if you mention on the show, I'm going to talk about what happened on the show. So I'm not going to talk about the son, but it did happen on the show. So that's what we mentioned. All right. Anyone else have a thought process?
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing with moving on, because when you got people in the comments talk about trauma bonding, I'm like, y'all, it's insensitive because people don't know. No, I mean, it's their opinion, but I just think personally, when you go through stuff like that, you don't know how you're going to respond to it. There's people who have one miscarriage and just don't want to go through it ever again, you know, because of the mental stuff that you go through. And some people, you know, like with Nick Cannon's situation, his child unfortunately passed, and then they had another kid right after. I personally don't think I could do that. I think it would take me like 10, 15, 20, 25 years. You know what I mean? So that's just me personally, but everybody, you know, deals with things differently. The thing I was really confused about, and maybe he could chime in, and maybe it was editing, but I didn't understand why we had to talk about not liking the bat lashes and the non-natural look in front of the ladies. It seemed like it was almost like a headshot at the ladies, because there was about 3 or 4 of them that had like 10 pounds of MAC makeup on their face, including the one that he liked. So I was kind of confused about not liking the lashes and the makeup and the wigs, and then you like one of them, they got a lot of that. So I thought the ladies dealt with that comment pretty good, but I thought that was different. And plus, especially because the one, was it Rashina? What's her name? Seems very different than Laylin, right?
Vanessa was the other one.
Is Vanessa?
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Vanessa
right.
is the sunset, and Laylin is not Laylin. Rashina is the salon owner with the nails and everything.
Exactly. Like for me, like I'm not a guy, but for me, if I'm going for Vanessa, I'm going for Vanessa. If I like the other lady, I like the other lady. It seems like it's gonna give all over the place, so I'm interested to see, because they give 2 completely different types of vibes. But there's nothing wrong with liking natural. The bat lashes, I personally cannot stand them. I really wish people would get rid of these lashes I literally cannot stand these lashes. So I get why dudes are tired of all of that. but I'm not sure I would say I hate the bat lashes in front of people who got the bat lashes. I would just try to be a little nicer than that. So we'll see. Oh no.
D-Way.
Mute yourself.
D-Way.
You should have said that. You should have said that after Sean. Sean, you should have said that after.
I know. I usually know better, but C-Way, just Kojo, you might have to put her backstage if she gets it.
I've muted her. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, I'll just agree with C-Way on that last comment because I think everybody has a preference. And again, I'm in 2024, so there's certain things I'm unlearning. And I think, I too might have made a comment like that myself, even a few months ago about the bat wings and, everything else. But I just think just move around. I think, what's understood, you don't need to really go after people and be a little hurtful. If you don't like the hairstyle, you don't like the makeup, you don't like the eyelashes or whatever, just move around. I think you can stop and just say natural. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we do get hit with some swings. Well, that's not who you liking on Instagram. Oh, hey, you got it, sis. You're right. But I like natural women, and that's it. We're just going to move around. I think we don't have to throw little jabs. I think that's stuff I'm going to work on myself too. So that's all I'm just saying. You don't have to I think that's why I don't like that settling comment either. Because you don't have to downgrade somebody to lift yourself up, right? So in describing your preferences, you don't have to downgrade the person because that's somebody's style. That's somebody's choice. They want to do it. They, go right on. Just not for me.
I definitely hear you on that. And just when Rim said, do you men know what natural is, or are they talking about light skin, 3C, curly hair? Can I just say this? I am sick and tired of women telling us what we don't know and what we do know. If we say we like something, I need you to accept it and move the frick on. It's boring. And it's annoying. It's like we tell you what we like and they'll be like, you don't like that. You don't like that. You don't really. It's like, how many times we go and tell y'all we like that? Okay? All right, we like that. Okay? You gotta leave it alone. Okay?
Do y'all know what 3C curly hair is, though?
Huh?
Do you know what 3C curly hair is, though?
I don't know what 3C is. I've seen 4C. I didn't even know there was 3s in there. I only knew the 4s.
Wait, Kojo, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. Devil's advocate.
Yes.
If a man says that he likes natural.
Yes.
On a show with black women.
Yes.
And he ends up with a preference. Does that aid the discussion to the person's point? Because we're shutting
order in the court. Order in the court.
No, I have a real question. We can't just shut her down. If a man says that he wants natural on a show full of black women, and the version of natural is not 3C. We're not it's 2B. I'm just asking a question. I just want clarity on that. Because I do think there are men who like natural meaning not all that makeup, maybe just a little soft glam, maybe either a twist out, a fro, just something that doesn't give over contour. And then there are men that say they like natural and because they really want you to look like Laylene, who, she's natural, but she looks like she has long flowing hair like Chili, which a lot of people may not have that. So I'm just wondering. Just a question. Vanessa gave natural, so maybe that works. I mean, she gave more of a natural look, but just wondering.
I think. No, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's a bit tight though. You're on a show with what you've been given. You know what I mean? So whilst I say I like natural, that's a preference. In what we like. So if that's the ideal thing that we want to go for, that is what it would look like. And to be honest as well, when we're talking about natural, there is a little bit of a scale. I also understand sometimes with men. So someone might say natural, little or minimal makeup. Somebody might be natural and say no makeup at all. Someone may say natural and want actual Afrocentric hairstyles, which they don't mind having extensions with. Or someone might say, I really want it natural, as in nothing in your hair, no product, da-da-da-da. There's a little bit of scale with that, just a little bit of scale with that when it comes to men, right? But the reality of the situation, like I said, I think a lot of men do like things being natural as much as possible if they can, and it to look good. It's not just natural and you to look like you just come out from a bush. It's not meant to be that. It's meant to be looking good and so you look presentable, you look nice. The same way you look at a man, you want him to look presentable and look nice. So it's the same thing with men. When they say natural, yeah, we want natural. There are men who are going to lie and they are always there. There are men who are going to like BBLs and they're always there. There are men who are going to want breast enlargement, whatever you want to call it. It's there. But a lot of men, they want a natural, and that can range a little bit, little to no makeup to done very well or no makeup at all. You know what I mean? My natural is not necessarily what Sean's natural is. You know what I mean? But I think we can meet on some ground in terms of what we like. I personally would say that.
I think I agree with you, Coach. Last statement you said. I think everybody's natural is different, right? Yours natural is not mine. Sean's natural is not mine. JR's natural is not mine. I think everybody has the different preference of natural. Some like no makeup at all, as you mentioned. Some like natural hair and no extensions. Some like go get deep into color of lipstick a person puts on. I mean, I know that's kind of demanding and demeaning to some women, but I mean, everybody has a different flavor of what natural really is and what they feel like natural is. And I think sometimes when you go on TV, when you go on these shows, I think they're going to put makeup on you, right? They're going to cover up some blemishes. They're going to make you TV ready. All right. So I don't think when you look on TV, you're going to get anyone 100% natural without having some type of makeup or some kind of product on. That's just my thought, in my opinion, on that one.
Of course, I'm not a man, but a lot of times the men I come up by that say they like natural is not that they don't mind you in makeup from time to time, but most of the time they will prefer that you are just like more fresh face, more like with your actual hair, not weaves everywhere, not braids, all of this. But it's not that they don't mind it. So,
or you don't look like a different person when you take the makeup off. Like what I see and when I take you home is not different.
Yeah.
Right? I can be able to see what you are with what you have on. Now, when you take it off and you are 2 shades lighter, that's a problem. Or you go home or you look totally different. I got to look at the ID and ask you for your name. If you're the same person that I met, that's a problem. I think that's what God's talking about. Be the same person with it on and off. No witchcraft, as one of my friends say. I don't need witchcraft and sorcery and all that type stuff.
Sean, I wonder if you want to add, Sean, or JR, you want to add?
No,
Sean said I'm staying out of this one.
Nope.
He said I'm staying out of this one. JR, you want to
I'm going to get called a colorist and a futurist.
How you going to establish
Sean,
and
the
change
chat
the
is
narrative
asking
if you
you.
don't speak? How you going to change the narrative if you don't speak? They're going to keep
Bro.
speaking for you, sir.
I thought I made my point very clear.
Make it again.
I think that there's nothing wrong with natural, and that's that. I do prefer a more natural look, but wear whatever makes you happy. I think makeup for women is something that makes them happy, and depending on how much makeup they wear or not, each woman is different. So do whatever makes you happy, and we'll find out if we connect.
Not
No,
the
you're
deflection
saving
of it all.
some people here. Yeah, you won't be true. And this is how you're going to keep talking.
Be you,
to
boo boo.
As long as you got them heels on. As long as you got them heels on.
Good answer. Move it straight along.
No, Sean is doing right, Jay. He's doing right. He's not trying to block his blessing because he doesn't want to get on here and be like, I don't want my girl to wear lashes, and the girl of his dream got lashes. So he's just like, look, do what makes you happy, and we'll figure it out if it works, babe. I think that's a good answer.
I had to learn to stop tussling with women in their makeup and, unfortunately, probably, listen, some of my lessons were learned in a marriage that's no longer with us, but I learned some there, so I'll quote it off. And I used to tell my wife, and my wife was beautiful with makeup, without makeup, but I'd just be like, come on, I'm tired of my pillowcases having makeup on it at night. Like, then I'd have to be taking the makeup off for her. But she didn't pay me any attention. So I did all this gum bumping. I said everything I wanted to say, and it just wound up having me tussling unnecessarily. And that was that. So I just learned. And you know what? I saw her with and without makeup. So I knew what she looked like. So I was never deceived. So if it makes her happy, there's certain things you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. I'm not tussling about women with makeup. I'm just not going to do it. If you want to get the lashes stuck in your eyes and permanently put in, you want to get your eyebrows tattooed, do it all. Because if a woman wants to do it, she's going to do it. As long as I know what you look like without it, and it makes me happy, and you like me, for me, then we're good. And I'm just going to leave you alone and let you do what you want to do.
They want to know how natural will you go outside of the makeup? Do you do no shave November natural?
No, I have a really
natural.
No, I have a problem with body hair. Like, I take care of myself, and I definitely don't.
It, Sean.
I'm not saying you got to be bald as a newborn baby. No, I definitely don't like that. But I don't like things overgrown. I don't.
I think you shouldn't miss your blessing to it, Sean.
There, I'm gonna say what I like. Now you can do what you want to do.
Oh, you're gonna say what you like now. Oh, because
but I'm
a little
just
bit of
saying,
hair. You look scared of a little bit of hair. It's natural hair, bro. It's natural hair. It grows from their body, and you want to be concerned about that. But makeup, which is not natural, you won't be fine. You don't want to toss about that. But you want to toss about the hair on their body.
Kojo,
I think you should not.
This is something that you want to draw me into these unnecessary arguments, and I'm not gonna do it with you. Okay? So I need you to hurry up, pack your bags, get your passport out, get back from Ghana, and get to the UK so you can cut all this foolishness out, because I ain't gonna tussle with you about this. Yeah, I happen to like minimal hair on the body. Yes. Armpits completely shaved. Yes, that is my preference. Yes, downstairs I need a nice trim. Landing strips are okay. All right. So you got a little something from me. I don't mind a little landing strip. And hey, if you get busy for a couple of days and it's just a little, you got a light fade, I really don't care. But it's not going to be where we can braid my hair. No, we're not doing that. I don't like that at all.
When in Rome said you back out here grooming now. But let me give you a compliment real quick.
Hey.
I think it's about how you do it. You probably didn't notice. So earlier when I didn't have my light beat on, you said, "Seaway, I like your freckles. I like seeing your freckles." That is a way that you basically make someone be like, okay, maybe I'll actually, you guys see my freckles a little more, versus I like you without all that stuff on your face. That's rude. Like there's just like a way to do it, because now you're complimenting the person's natural beauty. So this is the way you do it. It's your delivery.
I think even with the delivery, it's still not going to go well. It doesn't get taken well. We don't get believed. We get told we're lying. We get told this. And the reason why I was saying about Sean is because I was saying, how come you're confident to talk about hair, but you talk about your preference there, but not talk about the fact that you may not like particularly makeup or something like that. You should be able to say it in a way that even that is just your preference. You weren't blocking your blessing by saying, if I like it this way, because you weren't blocking your blessing when you're talking about hair. You were happy to talk about the fact that you don't want the hair, this and that. I don't want it bald like an eagle. I don't want it. You're happy to talk about that. You was even more descriptive there than you were with the makeup stuff, right? So I think the reality of what I'm saying is, if women are going to always tell you and tell me what we are saying if you don't stand up and say something. So really and truly, my preference is, this is my preference. And it's not an indictment on any woman. It's not shaming any woman. It's not saying you're not good. It's not saying that. You should be able to say it without it becoming a beef. And I agree with Seaway. There's a way to say this. It's not to say, oh, you like what Chaz said. It's out of order. I'm like, you with the bat wings. And no, I don't need to be saying that. You know what I mean? Because what I'm talking about is what I like. Hey, I like a woman, like Sean was saying, I like her to be trimmed, da-da-da. That is stating a positive of the preference, rather than saying, I hate when you... We don't need to be saying, I hate when you. You just need to say, this is my preference, this is what I like. This is what I would prefer in that instance. And even with your preference, there's always openness because, of course, you might meet someone who has this particular thing, and it's not necessarily your preference, but you like her, you like that person. It happens all the time on both sexes. I just think we shouldn't be scared to be able to say you like natural and you're cool with that and you like a particular thing. That's what you like. I think we got to stop being afraid to say those things because it's not helping the women either. Because now they're charging you saying, well, you said you like this, but you go for this. And it's like, whoa, no, I can have an openness, and I can change my mind, or I can have a situation where I like someone.
Okay, I'm glad he stopped ranting. The internet got him. So while we're waiting for Kojo to be unfroze in Ghana, I'm going to tell you why I went in explicitly about body hair. I went in explicitly about body hair because body hair is something that we all can control. Everybody can get a razor, everybody can get a clipper, and you can trim your body hair. Makeup, women use makeup for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's insecurity, sometimes it's to hide a blemish, a flaw, sometimes they want a different hairstyle. So that's why I say I'm not getting involved with that, because there's underlying reasons for why women do makeup and do different things with their hair, things I've learned. So I leave it alone. Some women like what they look better. They feel more confident with the makeup on and without it. Body hair, you can either trim it or not. If it's that offensive to you for me to ask you to trim, then we're just not meant to be together, because we should be able to do that. But if you can't, then we can't be together. The makeup stuff, I said I've evolved. I used to say things like that in the past before, but I've evolved. I can evolve. I can change. I don't have to be fixed. So that's my point.
So you can't control makeup, but you control body hair. I just need you to just...
I'm not controlling anything. I'm telling a woman what I would like, and she has the agency and choice to do what she wants to do. I'm stating my preference. And I'm saying going in with the whole makeup thing and the hair and the weaves and the wigs, when we start having those conversations, it digs at sometimes women's insecurities, or it just goes places I don't think we necessarily need to go as men. Again, this is my feeling. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. If you want to have those brazen conversations, bro, I'm not gonna tussle with you. You do what you want to do. I'm telling you what I've learned and where I'm at in my stance.
So you shucked on the fence, basically. I heard you though. But listen, there's no beef. I totally get it. Again, and I hear what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you should tell women anything bad. I am saying that you should be allowed to say your preference, and your preference should never have to negatize our thing. If I say I like apples, it does not mean I don't like oranges. I don't have to say something bad about oranges because I like apples. That's my point. And because if you don't want to say anything, that's fine. If you don't want to say anything, but I think we also have to teach men as well how to able to speak about their preferences without it becoming a way of downing a woman. I think we have to give men that opportunity to do that too. I think if we just leave it in the sense, I don't want to say it because I'm scared to say it because I'm just going to blow up in the face. Well, we're not actually helping anybody here. You are stating your preference. You like what you like. Women state their preferences. They like what they like. And we're not offended by it. And you shouldn't be offended by it. If Siwe says she likes a 6-foot man, there better not be no 5'5" man coming out here crying about the fact you like a 6-foot man. That is her preference. Get over it. Well, you can't go over it because it's the height thing. But, obviously, listen, at the same time, you should be able to be like, all right, cool. That's her preference. And be okay with it. It's not a beef. If you like that, or you like this, or you like that. Like, it shouldn't have to be a case of I'm now feeling like some type of way. If Siwe says she likes white man, now suddenly, you only like white man. Now, That's her preference. If that's what she likes, what she likes. Like, I see it on both sides, people doing it. It's mad annoying. So I'm just saying that I'm not even trying to bring you into a tussle, Sean. I'm more saying this as a general perspective to say that I think there's a right way to be able to discuss this situation. When you discuss what you like, and you don't discuss that I don't like this, or I don't like that, I don't like this. When it becomes that negative spiel, I do believe that's where we're going into a very bad place. But if you state that you just, hey, I'm a person, I like natural, I like this, or I like that, or I like that, you know what I'm saying to you? Because if that's going to be the case, people are going to get onto me very soon. Like, you always say you like dark-skinned women. What about the light skins? Oh, okay, well, I didn't say anything bad about light skins. I just said I like dark-skinned women. Now it's like, you triggering me. You making me feel some type of way because you ain't mentioned me. Oh, my God. And you're a YouTuber and you have a whole platform. You don't mention how you like light-skinned women. Now we're going to have an issue with that. So what I'm trying to say is there has to be a way that we speak about something to make sure that it doesn't become that case where you're now zip-tied. I think that's not also beneficial for men either, to be in that space. You know what I mean? I think there's a way to do it.
They be in your DM saying that, coach?
Listen, it's happened one or two times, you know what I'm saying to you? Oh, you don't like light-skinned women. And it's like, I never said I didn't like light-skinned women. I just said I prefer dark-skinned women. Could I be with a light-skinned woman? Yes. But I would prefer to be with a dark-skinned woman. That's what it is, a preference. That's all. You know what I mean?
think I'm sure everyone would like us probably to move on, even though they haven't said it yet. I'm proud of y'all. But I think I really proud of them for not doing that yet. But I think Sean has learned, I think at, his age and stage in life, that there's certain battles that, he's learned to pick, and he just doesn't feel like it's worth it to even mention or pick the makeup battle versus like the body hair is like a non-starter. I think that's what he was trying to say. I do understand what you're saying. Like, people should be able to voice their preferences respectfully without it starting a whole battle. But I do agree with Sean when it comes to the makeup thing, unless it's just like completely outrageous. I think most men at a certain point realize it's just not even worth talking about that particular thing. But yes, speak your mind.
No, that's a point. No, Seaway, that's a point. Why do they feel that way? Because they've been told to shut up the whole entire time. That's my point. I don't want men to be in that space. I want to advocate for men in 2024. And that means being able to say how you feel without it becoming destructive. That's actually my real point. It's not that they realize that they shouldn't tussle about it. They realize that every time they say something, people tell them to shut the F up, right? They tell them to keep quiet and don't say anything and stay in your corner. Because if you do, we're going to rise up and tell you something. And that's why they don't say anything anymore.
Or maybe they just told them that they don't care, but maybe they just told them that they're going to still do them.
So yeah, I mean, Kojo, I just think I really don't think in the history of histories that men are struggling with what to say and being silenced. Men are being silenced out here, bro. You know better than that. Men from the test of time, from the beginning of time, have had platforms and will say whatever the hell they want to say. I think, and this is why I said my statement is one of the things that I'm starting to learn better is sometimes we need to restrain our voices because we do have privilege, bro. We got privilege. As Black men, we're not as high on the privilege list, right? But we do have privilege. So I just want us to be conscious of the privilege. And I myself am making a choice to not always use my privilege to say whatever I think. I don't think I need to shout from the rafters that I don't want a woman with wearing weaves and makeup all day long. And that's going to help me to find my mate. That's not going to help me do that. I can easily navigate around who I like, who I'm attracted to, or not. Right. And then we can have other discussions about things that we both maybe want each other to do differently or tweak it. But I think what's happened is there's a culture of shaming women. And I think just a little bit, this comment that Chaz made is a little part of that, where we're okay with poking fun at women. We're okay with, giving them a slight little jab for the fun of it. And I am saying that I just want to avoid that kind of stuff because it touches on other things. And we don't always need to say those things. Sometimes we can be quiet because guess what? Just because we can say it doesn't mean we should.
I love that. So we were happily able to have a laugh at Jonathan and the way he was, and I never said nothing, right? Because it's a double standards. I'm not gonna bash around that. But what did I just say earlier on? It's not about talking about the negatives. I said it's about talking about what you prefer, which is I like this. There should be nothing wrong with you being able to say what you like. And you went to a negative, and I blatantly said it's not about saying what I don't like. I didn't ask you to say what you don't like. I said, why can't you say what you do like? If you like natural, you should be able to say it. And you're being disingenuous right now too by saying that men don't get told to shut up when they talk about this kind of stuff. Now, what I would say is a lot of men don't know how to discuss this in the most appropriate way because they often go to what I don't like. And if we were a channel that's meant to lead and tell people and teach people how to behave, I think one of the ways we should also do is that as men, this is the way that we should talk about the situation. If you feel like you like this, then say you like this. You don't have to say the negative. It's a bit like when Black men say, I don't like Black women. And then they start going into a whole triad of how they don't like Black. We don't need to hear that, nigga. If you don't like Black women, stay your business. Say you like your white women and keep it pushing. Black women have always said that. If you like white women, just say you like white women and leave it at that. You do not need to down Black women. And what I'm saying is that should be an effective way for Black men to also understand that if you like a certain preference, it shouldn't be at the cost of someone else and say something negative about it. You should be able to say, hey, I just like Black women. Or I'm a big fan of the natural hairstyles, or I'm a natural fan of the African style of clothing, or whatever, without it being a detriment by saying, I don't like this. No. And I think that's a better way of going about that conversation, rather than just saying, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to set off bombs. Well, then you really are now having to step on eggshells, and you actually are not talking, and actually you are being shut down, which is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So, personally, I don't want men to be kept quiet. I want them to be able to speak, but I want them to be able to speak with wisdom in that particular instance as well.
I think that's great, though. You gotta have to speak with wisdom. I think it's all about tone, pitch, and voice, and how you say it, right? And what you say, and how you deal with it. I think you should have a voice on what your preference is. If your preference is your preference, right? It doesn't matter if anybody else likes it. It's your preference. It's what you have to look at if you're dealing with the marriage for the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years is what you have to deal with. And if you're happy with it, then you allow your preference to do it. You don't come trying to control the person you're with. It goes back into hairstyles. It goes into a different dynamic, like hairstyles and lipstick and makeup. Coming into marriage, being there for 22 years, I'm not telling my wife how to do her hair. You've been doing it before you got me. So I trust you enough that you know what you're doing. So I don't have to control your hairstyle because you was doing it beforehand, right? You was doing makeup beforehand. So I trust the fact that you know how to take care of your makeup and look acceptable. Again, it's a little bit about trust. It's about your preference and about how you want to deal with the situation and the person that you want to be with. So it's one of those things that you got to deal with and you got to talk about. And men shouldn't be stifled. But I think you should choose your words carefully so you're not demeaning the person that you're talking to, or that you're putting being negative to the person that you're talking to. There's ways to say it and be productive and have a grown folk conversation without putting someone down.
Can I say something? Because I'm listening to both Kojo and I'm listening to Sean, and it's like neither one of y'all are wrong and neither one of y'all are right in the whole thing or whatever. Because basically Sean gave where it concerns him more, and he gave his opinion. He voiced it there. He's not as concerned with makeup as other men might be. So for him, he's not going to harp on the makeup thing, but for him, it's the hair thing. So he's still doing what you're asking, Kojo. He's still voicing where his preference is at, but it happens to be with hair and not makeup. So it's not like that he's doing anything wrong. It's just makeup doesn't bother him as much as maybe hair or the things on his priority list when it comes to dating a person or whatever. You have your list of things that you was like, yeah, no, I can't deal with this. And then you have your things that's like, I can overlook it if you do it right. So it's like you guys are just going back and forth really for no reason at the end of the day, because Sean has agreed to do what you're thinking when it came to the hair situation. But obviously makeup is not a big deal. And on the same token, for now, it's not a big deal for Sean because his wife or ex-wife, has already told him in his mind, women is not going to listen to me. Not saying that all women is not going to listen to him when it comes to the makeup, but how she went about delivering, I'm still going to do it anyway, lets him know without saying it that 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be arguing with somebody for a thing that they like that makes them happy, because makeup literally is for women. It's not for men. So arguing with women about makeup, 9 times out of 10 is I'm going to do it anyway because I like to do it. So you can go ahead and about your business, and guess what? You're still going to mess with me because you like other things about me. You want other stuff that makeup is not covering. I don't know.
Jay, that was a perfect point. I think you summed it up.
No, it wasn't actually. I'm going to argue that it wasn't. It really wasn't, because when he stated his point, the reason why it wasn't. I like a debate. I like a debate. I love you, Jay. I like a debate. But the reason why I was arguing with him is because he stated by saying makeup it's not a choice, but the hair is a choice, which means he wasn't having the same argument I was having. What he was letting me know was he doesn't like talking about that aspect. We may have different aspects when it comes to makeup. I'm not saying that he can't say he doesn't like makeup or whatever, or he won't say hair or whatever, but it's the fact that he made a point, stating off very first off point was there's a difference between makeup because there's different issues that come with makeup. Someone might be a little bit insecure, someone might be a little bit this, someone might that, and there's the difference between hair. So he made a distinction. Once he made that distinction, it was never about the same point. I think the point you're making, Jay, it's a great point, but he never made that. He made a distinction. So when he made a distinction in that particular aspect, right, that's why I said, okay, no, because what's going to happen is what you're now alluding to is that I can't talk about makeup. That's what I was saying. And I'm not saying that you should talk about makeup in a negative aspect. I said, again, focus on what you like. If I don't like makeup, I'm going to say, listen, hey, I like a little bit more little makeup, or I'm a bit more of a natural makeup. That's what my kind of thing is, and you keep it pushing.
What did you hear me say when I made that comment?
You heard me, because I just repeated it.
I think we just weren't hearing each other.
Did I misquote you?
It's not about misquoting me.
So
what happened is, just hold on, bro. What
I
happened?
said, no, we need to. I
because you can't throw that at me. You can't say to me, what did I just say? When I've quoted what you said, and you didn't tell me it's different what you said.
What did I say? I said, what did you hear me say? Because I think you misunderstood my intent. So I want to make sure that you didn't understand. You didn't misunderstand what I was saying. So the point of me giving the example of why when women wear makeup is because I was adding context. I was trying to add context in terms of why I made a choice to not go delving into it and making such statements, because I have learned that there's women wear makeup for different reasons. And instead of me making it an issue that's about me, when it's really about that woman and why she chooses to do it, I've made a choice to not do it, right? So that's all I'm saying. And from the very beginning, I've said that you can do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling you, no, don't do it. You know, I'm not telling you that. I'm saying this is the place that I have arrived at. So that's what I want you to get. Like, this is not something I'm trying to debate you and tell you you're wrong. Like when we had that whole big thing about Sharice and her feelings, right? This isn't there. This is where Sean is, because I have learned some things. And I'm working on learning and being different and handling situations better. So there are certain things that I've made a choice to just let go of because they're just not that important to me. And sometimes we don't know the reason why. And I think also because when we do, as men, open the door up, all men aren't, unfortunately, as evolved as we are. And so that's why you have comments like the one like Chaz made, which is insensitive and can be offensive. So yeah, can we tell men, yes, be measured, be whatever in your commentary and choose better words? Yeah, we can say that, but we can also say on the other side of it, hey, sometimes you don't need to go there. Sometimes you just move around to what you like. Sometimes you don't need to actually go after somebody to make a comment, or sometimes you don't have to put it out there. Oh, I don't like weaves. I don't like this. Sometimes you could just move around to what you actually like and avoid what you don't like. So that was another part of my point.
Why are we making men as if they're dumb and can't actually grow and learn? Because that's exactly what we're putting men into. We talk about men and some of their bad behaviors all over the gaff. That's what this whole channel is about. And we correct it and say this is a better way of doing something. Suddenly, we don't know how to tell them that there's a better way of talking about the situation. Suddenly, we have to. This is what I'm talking about, avoiding stuff. This is avoiding. This is why I'm saying that I'm clashing with you, because I'm saying I don't think that's the better way to just avoid. What I'm saying is, if we can tell men in other behaviors, men cheat and do some stupid stuff and do all this kind of crazy stuff, hey, there's a better way of doing something. Suddenly, we don't know how to tell them there's a better way of doing something here. Rather just leave it alone. Don't even say anything at all. And it's like, there's no need to. Like, we can educate men and say, hey, there's a better way of doing this. There's a better way of going forward. There's a better way of actually talking about the situation. Right? I mean, listen, you can leave it if you want. I personally just don't want men to be stifled to a point they don't say anything. Because the first thing we said about we like women that was natural, the first thing that happened was Siwe countered it by saying, do you really? And I was like, we've been here before. Because you know why that always happens? Because men will go like this. Well, okay, cool. I don't want to say nothing now. And now you're stifled and you're shut down. And I'm saying it becomes a problem because you can't say what you feel. And I'm just being real. I'm not saying be aggressive. I'm not saying be nasty about it. I think we can educate men and say, hey, there's a better way to do this. There's a better way to have a conversation. If you want to say your preference, there's a better way of announcing that. And I think you made a good point, Sean, which is there is time, there is context. We are going to make sure that there's wisdom in this and how we do this. It's not an everyday situation you're trying to drop it in. I think you can do that. I think that also must be included in the conversation as well. I'm just saying that I don't want men to be the place where they're silent. This doesn't make no sense to me personally. I think if that's your preference, that's fine. But I'm saying that I see that conversation always happen, and it starts off the exact same way we just happened here. Men say they like natural. C was like, no. Are you sure? Are you sure? They started questioning it, and it's because you don't speak up. If
Can
we just
I
said that's our preference, that's it. Yeah, go
can
for
I
it.
see if I could tie it in a bow or whatever? I think what happened when Sean first originally answered, and this is probably why Kojo is still harping on you so much, Sean, is that you started off with a disclaimer instead of actually answering the question. You went off into a little bit of something else. Like you could have been like, I like natural, but I'm okay with whatever the woman decides. And I think that's probably what Kojo was looking for as an answer or whatnot. I'm not really sure, but there's a way to answer because we see people do this, and I'm gonna relate it back to the show. We see people do this, i.e., Patricia, for example, that they don't answer the question directly and they go into something else or more of a negative of what I don't like or whatever. It's what do you like in a man? Well, I don't like when he do this, and I don't like when he do that. That's not the question. The question is, what do you like in a man? And I think that's how this happened with this scenario is, what do you prefer on a woman? Do you prefer her natural or not? And you go into, well, I'm okay, whatever she wants to do. It's that you're not answering that question directly. You're not giving what you actually like because you're worried about more so of what the woman is thinking. So, and I'm not saying that's what you're actually doing, but I know people do this when they answer questions, when you start watching people answer questions a certain way. And, you know, coach are going to overanalyze the way you answer the question to the way you sit down in your body language and all that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting it all together.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good summary. Can't lie to you. Good summary. I think that's a good summary. And I know a lot of audience, they want us to always move on and stuff. I don't give a heck. So, personally, I don't give a heck. And you're gonna cry about it, and you cry in your sleep if you want to cry in your sleep. We have debates on this channel sometimes. Me and Sean go back and forth, and I love a little debate. Sean says he won't debate me, so sometimes I've got to draw him out a little bit. But but no, Jay, you summarized it perfectly. I think you summarized and brought the 2 points together and in that aspect. And I think do you know what it is? It's two different methodologies, right? It's the Martin Luther King, Malcolm X situation all over again, isn't it? People have two different methodologies. Martin Luther King said it's the best way. Martin said it's the best way. You can argue which way you want it to be, but both of them were effective because we needed both. In all honesty, sometimes you got to break some stuff. Sometimes you got to love some stuff. You know what I mean? So I also got that point as well. You know what I mean? JR, did you want to have something to say? And if not, Glenn will jump in, I'm sure.
Well, I knew it was going to be a contentious conversation once the topic shifted to that. I'll just say this: like, my view is different strokes for different folks. Like, everybody doesn't like everything, and they're not supposed to. Everybody has a preference. I think there is a double standard, though, in the difference between the way women can state their preferences and the way men can state their preferences. With men, we have to be a lot more tactful and definitely be more careful with the words we use and the tone, as Glenn said earlier as well. Like, we are judged basically on those things and the way we put it across. I think women are allowed to be more vocal about what they do and don't like. And, that's just the way it is. So that's really my take. That's why I didn't have any input. Everybody made some very valid points. And I don't disagree with too much of what was said. Like, some people may like hair more. Some people may like the cosmetics more in their lady. And some people may like personality more and aren't really fooled by the visual anyway. Because, unless you like the person underneath, then none of that really matters. All right. The visual is only going to take you so far, but it's the chemistry, compatibility, and relatability, and all these other factors besides the physical that are going to carry you through your relationship. So that's my take.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think you both was in the same ballpark, right? Just running at a different race, at a different pace. And I think that is the preference is where you want it to be at, natural or a little bit made up. I do think men are held at a higher standard by what we say. I do think sometimes men should let, if it's part of your vulnerability, should be speaking the truth and speaking your truth and not be judged by the fact, hey, I like this And it's okay if you're a man and you like this, because again, I think there's an old saying, I'm not the one gonna have to wake up to it every morning. So if I like a preference with no makeup, let me have my preference with no makeup. Just as if a woman like a man with six packs and have abs, right? That's her preference. She wants a 6 foot guy, right? I don't want a guy with a dad bod or whatever case may be. That's her preference. They don't get knocked for that, right? But men will get knocked for saying, I don't want women with XYZ, insert whatever you don't want. But I think we as men have to come to a point, as Coach was saying, on a positive level, but also when you're dating somebody or being married to somebody or engaged to somebody, keeping it positive, providing your honest opinion, but doing it with tact, with love, and with consideration of their feelings and what they've been through.
And just to say as well, like, I know some people, nothing about my Sean thing, just to make it clear as well. My first 2 girlfriends had no makeup, and my last girlfriend wore makeup. Loved her the same. I'm not saying that, again, I think we need to understand the word preference. I prefer. It doesn't mean I exclude. And that's, some people are doing the same thing that black men do when they're doing it to black women. It's not about excluding. It's about understanding the word prefer, meaning that would be my first choice. You understand what I'm saying to you? I don't go to my girlfriend who had makeup and be like, well, babe, don't wear no makeup anymore. That is stupid on my part. And number 2, that's controlling. That's not what I've said, and I'm not saying that at all. What we're saying is that's my preference. Meaning that if I was to have 2 people look at me, and they were the same person, and one had makeup on, didn't have it, I would prefer, but I would go to the person who didn't have the makeup on, because that's what I prefer. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't find another person attractive. Someone said to me, you find Zadia attractive, he has all this makeup. So what, you're not deep in it. I need you to think deeply. This is the word I've come to in Ghana. Think more deeply. The word prefer does not mean that I exclude. It just means that I prefer that particular aspect. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So I think we should also understand that point so that people are not offended on both sides. Men and women do this as well. So just put that point there. Good to see you back again, Seaway. You looking ready for the game, baby?
Good luck at the game, Seaway.
I'll be listening.
Congrats on your win.
Oh, already. Thank you. Bye.
Congrats.
Oh, she gone.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Suns
you
v
gonna say
Bulls
something?
tonight. That's why.
What you say, JR?
No. Leave it. We said we're not talking about that no more, JR. Leave it alone. We got off on it. You want me back on it? You want me back on the ball?
Versus Chicago Bulls.
You want me back on the ball, huh, JR? You want me back on the ball?
Oh, Lord. Out of control.
Don't worry, Jay. I'm not rising.
Now, what's next?
That was it. Unless we're going to tussle about the preferences of it all some more.
No, Kojo and I we'll talk more off stage.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure he will. He will talk to me after stage.
Because you was ready today, huh?
Hey, I'm in good energies and good spirits.
Good, Sean, all day, right? All day. He made it. Seaway dodged out before she got hers. It was me earlier.
Well, she did. She got a little. She was trying to help. He was like, "No, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong."
He shut her all the way down. Like, no.
I was just trying to get Jay back because she got me in a chat, so I had to get her back. She done finished me with this Yandy situation. I was still fighting for my life. So you chose to. If y'all still become at Jay's because of Yandy.
To take care of him on over here. I didn't do nothing to you.
I'm down bad. I'm still 1-0 down from Jay.
Yandy prefer to give away her eggs, but Sean, you need to tell me what you prefer.
You must speak. You will not be silenced. Use your voice. Okay.
Medicis don't have a voice anymore, but Sean, you still got one.
You're gonna be the voice. No, see, Perk, it wasn't friendly fire. It was unfriendly fire. I got into a tussle over my opinion. This is a channel all about our opinions.
You're the enemy now. You behind enemy lines, Sean.
Yeah, let's. I don't even know if we got to Alonso and Chaz, to be honest.
I don't
but,
think we did because they kept saying in the chat talk about Alonso, and I had to be
okay, so
reminded who he
let's
was.
get our last thoughts in about Chaz and Alonso, and we got to go. So, was there anything that we wanted to add there with Chaz and Alonso about these two per se? I don't exhausted it by talking about makeup. My bad, guys. I have to reprimand myself.
I think he's a little unserious.
Which one, Chaz or Alonso?
No, Alonso. Yeah, I think he's a little unserious. Just in his commentary, I know he says that he is a good time person, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. You know, but I don't know. I just I can't pick on a specific thing because I don't remember enough of it. But I just remember his interactions with the ladies not being, thought provoking. That's all.
He did say he want to gift the baby to his lady. You know, he want to gift the first child, or that part. And then he's the sugar baby to Patricia, because he's Patricia's sugar baby. She like, oh yeah, that that she like him young and fun or whatnot. And he tried to say he wants to show the ladies his serious side, but then made the little funny face.
But he had no game neither. I think he was talking to women. It was like crickets. They didn't even really entertain him. It was like, what are you saying? So I think he's a little immature. But Patricia's gonna love him because he's young and fun, and she's living that she want to live that young life with him. They want to go skating and hold hands together. She might be playing video games with him later on and skateboarding. Who knows?
Yeah, it gave me the vibes that she wants to get her groove back. And the conversations he was having, I think there was crickets because, again, he wasn't meshing. The conversation wasn't free flowing. Too much air between what was being said, and that kills the mood, kills the vibe very quickly. It's hard to recover in such a process by the looks of things. So yeah, you just got to shimmy and shake on out of there and move on to the next. And if he has found at least one lady that's invested in him, and she doesn't mind the age gap, then that's something he may have to examine going forward. But I don't see anything majorly problematic with him. He comes with a very different and unique look to the rest of the guys. He didn't say anything too off-putting. I just think it's a chemistry thing with the ladies that he was sitting there with.
Any other thoughts, guys, on Chaz and Alonso? I personally think Alonso's a bit of I think he's a live bunny, live energy person. And that can sometimes be misconstrued sometimes as not being a serious person. But, I mean, so far, I think he seems pretty cool. I mean, he's about to get chewed up by Patricia, or Patrice, I think her name is. He gonna find out very quickly, okay? She ain't just driving these buses. She's going to be driving him very soon. So I hope he's ready. He gonna find out. So, yeah, that's what I would say about Alonso in that aspect. Chaz seems pretty cool. I know some people feel like it's some type of way about him, but so far he seems pretty cool. I haven't seen any necessary red flags or anything like that, apart from him popping up in the chat right now. But I wouldn't say anything red flag wise. I think he's pretty cool, to be honest. And if you're watching there, Chaz, send me a message on Insta. We'd love to email you very soon and get you into an interview, mate. All right, we got questions for you. That being said, our 3 hours actually gone. So, Sean, if you could give us, Deacon Sean, let me give him the due respect that he deserves, even though I debate with him like... if you could give us the benediction, feel free to take as many shots as you want from the benediction pulpit. The pastors love a little shade in the pulpit.
The pastor always just gives a little light shade in the benediction. Just a little. Just a little, just a little.
And y'all over here applying all this makeup.
You know, just be careful of the people that try to tell you what to do. Are they doing what they supposed to do? You know, amen. But no, all in good fun, you know. So for everybody watching, depending on where you got, we are good. We're good. We have these conversations. We have these philosophical tete-a-tetes in front of y'all for good reasons. So it's all good. But yes, this episode, I think things are finally starting to heat up. I think we had a great lively discussion tonight. I think some of the lessons learned were, use your words, but choose them wisely. So if you're going to communicate, please be clear, be effective, and make sure your communication is targeted to the person that you are talking to and not you, because effective communication is less about you and more about having understanding with the person to which you are communicating to. And then also, hey, listen, we don't need to tear each other down to make our points. We do too much of that. We face too much, especially us as people of color. I'm going to get on my high horse. We do it too much. We need to come together. We need to use our voices, use our tongues to unite each other. And sometimes no answer is the best answer. And back to you, Coach.
Yes, guys, thank you so much. Y'all came out 500 plus strong. We appreciate you for joining us today. And listen, look, don't feel sad, okay? Me and Sean are not dead, okay? All right, it's a little tussle, okay? He gonna live, I'll go live, okay? All right. And but just let you know, already, Sean, Jay already beat me up already behind the scenes earlier on by that Yandy. I'm still recovering, okay? All right. So listen, we're good, okay? We good. All right. So folks, much appreciation. Thank you for turning up, And I just want to say, I like natural hairstyles. I like 3C and 2C and whatever it is that Siwa was trying to shank me with earlier on. But I'm loving your hair, Jay. And I love that kind of hairstyle. So, audience members, be good out there, okay? All right? Don't do anything I wouldn't do, okay? And there's not much I wouldn't do. So be careful out there. Read your Bibles, okay? And pray every day. Much love.